Welcome to the October 23rd, 2025 Planning Board of the Town of Southampton. Call to order, please. Gloria? I mean, a call to order. You know what I mean.
Yes, I do. Chair LaFaro.
Present.
Vice Chair Finity.
Present.
The Secretary is here. Board Member Mutu is absent. Board Member Neely.
Present.
Board Member Fulham.
Present.
Board Member Glazer.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Any minutes, Gloria?
Yes, we do. September 25 and October 9.
October 9. Motion to accept?
Motion.
By Dennis, second by Tom. All in favor? Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor and 1 absent. So let's go right into the town board referrals with Julie Green. Come.
Sure.
Yeah. Good to see you.
See you all. So we're going to start with the Austin Tuttle House. Maybe you can just pass that.
Sure.
Just a one
Thanks,
page.
Yeah.
And forgive me for maybe not knowing the protocol, so not sending you anything early or ahead of time, but going forward, we can change that, so.
Let's hope we have a lot more, Julie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
No, that's the Tuttle, yes.
Yep.
That's the
That's it.
title.
We're good.
Okay. You're on, Julie. Just give us your name for the record,
So
please.
Julie Green, Southampton Town Historian. This property is identified as one of 98 historic resources in Remsenburg in the Southampton Historic Resources survey that was done by the AKRF in 2014. And it's also identified in the historical profiles of the Eastport, Spionk, Remsenburg, West Hampton report from 2004. The house sits on an acre and 1.2 acre parcel and is located on the west side of South Country Road adjoining Remsen Lane in the historic area of Remsenburg. It sits prominently on the historic South Country Road in Spionk, now Remsenburg, that was the early post and stage route connecting communities such as Seatuck and Waterville, which are now Eastport, to the west.
Stagecoach. Tom?
And
Stagecoach.
and to the east settlements at Union Place and Beaver Dam, which is now West Hampton. A historic survey of the property was prepared by Landmarks and Historic District Board members Stephanie Davis and William Hine. The Landmarks and Historic District Board have found that the house at 149 South Country Road, Remsenburg, is worthy of town landmark designation as it meets 3 of the 5 criteria. So the first criteria is A, and which is to possess special character or historic or aesthetic interest of value as part of the cultural, political, economic, and social history of the locality, region, state, or nation. So via its association with 5 generations of the Tuttle family, it meets those requirements. The Tuttles were one of the first families who settled Remsenburg and the Spionk area, and the house was built in 1820.
It's pretty.
Is that directly opposite the post office?
No, it's so the academy is a little bit across the street, and then it's
the
right,
academy?
it's toward the western end, it's right on that very large curve.
Oh, okay.
So the view and the vista of this house has been there for 200 plus years, and it's quite lovely. It's right there in the, so it's on that,
Yep.
that curve. The second criteria that it meets is the historic personages. So this is one of the later, the personages is Willis B. Tuttle, and he was one of the later owners of the family. But he was a well-known correspondent for the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, the Riverhead News Review, and the New York Tribune, and as an editor for the West Hampton Press starting in 1930, which later became known as the Hampton Chronicle, which no longer exists, which turned into the Express Group Southampton Press. So in addition to his newspaper work, Willis Tuttle was a charter member of the Remsenburg Association, which was formed in 1946, an elder of the Presbyterian Church, and a member of the War Memorial Committee responsible for the installation of Remsenburg's War Memorial in 1948. As the town historian, he's one of those people that I run into all the time doing newspaper database searches. So because he chronicled the goings on of Remsenburg and Spionk, he's a very important person. So he fits that criteria quite nicely. And being from this Tuttle family also embodies that criteria. So, and the third criteria, of course, is the architectural type. This building was built around 1820. We're calling it the Austin Tuttle House because that was the gentleman that lived in it for most of his time. It's probably has been worked on over the years and added to, but those things have been done, and those additions and things are considered historic. So it's a beautiful, it's not a great vista, but it's a beautiful home. Yeah, and those are the Tuttle family. So it is a distinctive side gable colonial revival style dwelling that retains much of its historic building fabric and has an exterior appearance that remained relatively unchanged for at least the last 50 years. And as with most of our historic structures throughout the town, as I mentioned, the evolution of this house comprises earlier parts and remodeled during the first half of the 20th century.
Is someone living in the house now?
Yes, the owner is the applicant
Okay.
for the landmarking,
What acreage does it have?
1.2.
And that comes with as part of the package?
Yeah, the whole, it's kind of on a corner, it's on Little Remsen Lane, which would have been kind of a driveway for the Tuttle family. And just down the lane a little is a historic burying ground that we take care of, that the Remsenburg Association takes care of. And most of the Tuttles, or quite a few of the Tuttles, are buried there.
Some in
there's lots
Bridgehampton,
of-
too.
Yeah, there's such a tie-in with all of Remsenburg for them. So, any questions?
Do we
I think we support this, right?
resolution of support?
Absolutely. Yeah, so we need a motion for this? Yeah, motion by Gloria, and second by Kate, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent, and it's full support. And the next one is the Herman Ellsworth
Terrell House.
This again? There we go.
Beautiful.
Julie, do you want to keep these for your file? Sure. Okay.
There's another one.
I'm going to keep it because I have a Tuttle friend. I'm going to give it.
Really? Good.
I like hearing the Tuttles are still around. So the next house that for landmark designation is what we're referring to as the Herman Ellsworth House. So this received historic designation application for a landmark at the property. It's at 11 Walnut Avenue in East Quogue by the current owner. And the historic survey of the property was prepared again by Landmarks and Historic Board members Stephanie Davis and William Hine. The Landmarks and Historic District Board has found that the house at 11 Walnut East Quogue is worthy of town landmark designation because it meets one of the 5 criteria in the town. And I also could argue that it meets the percentage too. The Terrell family were largely involved in civic duties throughout their time here. So just to talk about the house a little bit, it meets the criteria C, which embodies the distinguishing characters of an architectural type, period, or style, or contains elements of design, details, material, or craftsmanship which represent a significant innovation. As it is a distinctive 2-story front gable Queen Anne style dwelling with hipped roof, built around the turn of the 20th century, and we've since learned that it was built in probably about 1892, which is a very significant period at the turn of the 20th century for this style home, and it embodies it beautifully. It has, it's relatively unchanged since it was built in 1892. and it retains much of its historical building fabric, 2/2 light double-hung sash windows, a central brick chimney, wood shingled cladding, and a wraparound porch with square posts, and has an exterior appearance that has remained relatively unchanged for the better part of its history. So just a little history on the Terrells. So this was built in 1892 by Herman Ellsworth Terrell and his family on land owned by Charles Bishop. Walnut Avenue, did I say Avenue? Yeah, Walnut Avenue had been laid out just prior to the sale of the land, and it was because it went to the East Quogue Field Club, which no longer is in existence, but at that time, so this is right off of Main Street in East Quogue, and that was the road to get to the East Quogue Field Club. So Herman Terrell worked as a mason for his father, Richard Schuyler Terrell. They had a family construction company, and they're well known for building many, many summer cottages in Quogue and West Hampton Beach and East Quogue. A lot of these large Victorian homes on the western part of town are all built by them, and he was the mason, so he was integral, the base of the whole operation, so to speak. And also interesting to note that Herman Terrell was appointed the seventh man. You all know we're working on the Tiana Life Saving Station, so we're doing a lot of digging about the lifesavers that were here as our first responders. And he was a first responder. He was the seventh man of the Southampton Life Saving Station to fill a vacancy in December of 1897. He's considered the winter man, which was, of course, the roughest period to rescue people from shipwrecks. At the time of his death in 1920, he continued on in his masonry field in construction. And also the Terrells, so just west of the Tiana Life Saving Station, was at the Terrell Bathing House. So I'm sure he worked there in some capacity as well. That was all wiped out in the hurricane of '38. And also interesting to note that Irving Downs was the second homeowner and was born and bred in East Quogue, and for 8 years served as the Southampton tax assessor and receiver. And his wife, Anna B. Downs, sold the property in 1959.
I love the Chewy box on the front.
I
Yeah,
know.
it's Chewy. They have a pet.
When they designate these houses for landmark, do they make any provisions for landscaping? Do they put limitations on what can be planted out front?
Put limitations on heights of shrubbery.
Oh, do they?
So
Is that part of the land
Yeah,
marking?
sometimes it can be part of, so that we have visibility from right of way.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that a standard?
It gets more, if these people are seeking historic facade easements, so those are a little bit, sterner, stricter in the, for facade easements, written, no higher than 4 feet, that type of thing.
Okay,
No
so
shrubbery up against the house.
The future owner couldn't come and plant,
No, yeah.
Okay.
And all the maintenance remains private with the,
Yes, yeah, this is just to gain status that one would need for certain grants and
Reservation.
things like that.
right, okay.
Are the current property owners related to the Terrells, or no?
No.
No, okay.
Okay, motion to accept this by Dennis, second by Tom, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you, Julie. And for everything you do.
Julie, here you go. There's some extras. Thank you.
Thanks for seeing me first.
Favorite
Okay,
part
we're
of the
going to
job.
close out the regular session and go into a work session with Anthony and 310 Montauk Highway. Hello.
Is that better, Seth?
Great, thanks. Please identify yourself for the record.
Alec Kosiski from Bowler Engineering, 275 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, New York.
Just spell your last name.
Kosiski.
And Bowler. That's Bohler.
Yep. Perfect.
Hi, and Zach Antoletti, 41 Meeting House Lane, Southampton, New York, 11968, counsel for the applicant.
I figured I'd make this easier by making 11 by 17s. So
Yeah.
it's a
Yes.
big
They're
plan.
large foldouts.
Yeah.
But we now have an easel, so
Put these out.
I made smaller copies, just so
Oh,
they
thanks
can
to
they can flip
Kristen.
through it.
That's easier.
I don't know if I need more.
They can double up? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, you want to pass one?
Got more. We have another one, here, that's the lawyer.
Yeah, it's the same one.
It's all the same?
They're all the same. Yeah, they're all stapled together, there's 3 exhibits.
Anthony, here's one for you.
We have an extra too. Do you need one down there?
Oh, gosh.
Did you pass that?
Thank you. So you guys don't have to share.
I just figured instead of the big plan.
Two.
We already got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
Anthony?
yeah, I'm gonna let them do this, but, you know, this is a property, on Montauk Highway in Shinnecock Hills. It is in the 20 zoning district. It fronts on Montauk Highway, and if you can see back here from the subdivision, Lillian Lane. We actually did a pre-application on this, that involved a lot line modification of the 2 lots here at the end of the cul-de-sac that would result in this property getting some frontage on Lillian Court. But that was the extent of it, because obviously access on Montauk Highway is undesirable. That sort of never went anywhere beyond the pre-application, and then I met with the gentleman here on a potential subdivision. I wanted them to present it to you, which I think is in the packet. Sheet.
Yield map would do.
We don't have to worry about yield
The
right
third
now.
page, so the third page would be the final map.
Anthony, what's the road that Lillian Lane comes out to?
Middle Pond. Middle Pond, they call it.
Middle, yeah, that's,
Yeah, so it's the third page.
I don't know why I was second guessing.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. So, you know, what they're looking to do now is, and there is a yield map in there, I think that shows.
The yield of 4. But
Well,
there's
the
no,
yield that the
no
proposal
cluster.
is a yield of 4. I mean, the map subdivision design is 4. I think they're showing 6.
So we want to propose 4 lots,
I don't
but,
have that, I don't have that here. Do
So-
you have 2 maps?
so page 2. Page
Okay,
2
no, I got it,
has, if we were to divide this into the 20,000 square foot lots, we would yield, I believe, 6 with the road. Our proposed application is to propose 4 lots at about 40,000 square feet per lot. So bigger properties, less lots.
And there are 2 houses existing.
Yeah, so those currently are not part of our property. What would have to happen, sorry, Anthony, I'm stealing your,
Aerial, just to show Gloria. The property in question isn't here, it's hard to see red. The 2 lots you're looking at are the 2 at the end of this cul-de-sac, and
Got it.
they're different properties.
Yeah.
correct. So previously in this application, what transpired, and you can kind of almost see in that plan, was that the property to the east side, we would have a series of land swaps. So what would happen is we would provide the property to the east with some additional land, which they already built into, as you can see, on the eastern side. So that neighbor already built into the property that was agreed upon many years ago. And with the property to the west, we would also provide more land to the back as attached in the plan, and they would provide us access to Lillian Lane. So there'd be a series of land swaps with the 2 neighbors that was agreed upon way back when, that would allow us to get access off Lillian Court.
Are
So
you not south of Montauk Highway?
we are on, yes, we're
Then I
directly
think
south of Montauk
that
Highway. So right now, we currently are front facing along Montauk Highway, as Anthony had mentioned, it's non-desirable, so what our intent is to do is to connect to Lillian Lane, and the only way to do that is through a series of land swaps with the neighbors, which was agreed upon.
Yeah, I was just confused when you were talking about the east and west neighbors.
Yeah, so it was, so this house right here, as you can see, they already built into what was discussed, so you can see they have provided a row of hedges into the property. So they went ahead and took it upon themselves to do that. The property to the west, we would donate that hatched area, and they would provide us access off Lillian. So kind of a lot line reconfiguration in order to make this happen.
Yeah, and this is conceptual. I know that the flag lot has to be 20 feet, for example. This, one of the things I wanted to show the board on this map so they understood was, obviously there would be a common driveway off of Lillian serving all 4 lots, okay? But we only have 1 flag strip, as you can see. It's attached to what is shown as Lot 1. So Lot 1 would, ultimately have frontage on Lillian Lane, and Lots 3 and 4 have frontage directly on Montauk Highway. If you look at Lot 2, which, you know, is closest to Lillian Lane. They're showing the flag strip coming to Montauk Highway there. And that's basically because they have to have legal road frontage on a subdivision. So while they're showing that because they have to have road frontage, ultimately the access to the lot would have to be via the common driveway off of Lillian Lane. So I just wanted to, you know, sort of show that.
Lillian is a private road, right?
I don't believe so.
No, I believe it's a town road.
Town road?
Yes.
So now with just 4 lots, you're talking about proposing 4 instead of 6?
Yes.
The back 2 or the south 2 lots would access through Lillian Lane, and the north 2 would go to Montauk
So,
Highway?
so we would, what we'd want to do is have a common driveway for all 4 lots.
all-
But the
oh,
way
is that
the
the
code
third
is
page?
written, we would have
Nope.
to have 3
Got
and
it.
then one, a
Got it,
flat lot
got it,
off
got it.
Montauk.
Sorry.
So
Yep, got
it
it.
would be presented that way, it just, we would build it in a way that all 4 lots are connected to Lillian.
So the cluster that you submitted, which is 4 lots instead of 6?
Yes, that's what we prefer to do, so.
Well,
Okay.
it's a standard plan, they're not showing a cluster plan.
This is a standard.
This is a standard
Because
plan, you know.
There is no open space allocated in this design. Have you been creative and looked out, trying to design this parcel in other configurations?
Built out,
As open space as in,
Some land with trees.
so,
Since it's all wooded.
yeah,
The whole
so.
parcel is wooded.
Yeah, for sure. And we would actually try to reduce, so we would have some areas along Montauk Highway specifically, that whole buffer, our intent would be is to keep it all treed landscape. So with providing a bigger piece of parcel allows us to kind of mitigate and leave some of the trees on that parcel. So we haven't gone, this is super conceptual, so we just stopped at the lot lines, but
That's
if,
why this is a work session.
Yeah,
So you're
for sure.
getting input from the planning board.
but yes, our intent is to provide, I mean, it is a fully wooded parcel.
Yeah.
So if we could retain, I believe east of us is the Hamlet Inn, so it's the hotel. So our intent would be to fully buffer this development, and by doing 4 lots at 40,000 square feet, that it gives us the ability to buffer.
So one of the things, you know, this wasn't my pre-app report, I was another planner, but one of the things that came out of this was the discussion of a potential future subdivision. You know, it was acknowledged that it's not adjacent to any preserved land at all, so it wouldn't connect to anything. So it was sort of left open-ended in that, you know, considerations of clearing restrictions and buffers and stuff like that, you know, could also be a way, because, you know, the way it was written is that, you know, on balance, if you reduce the density, maybe there's a way to, you know, to accomplish tree preservation, you know, outside of a clustering, but that's the board's decision.
Shinnecock Hills also.
Yeah, well, and to
we've
that
always
point, we
tried to
usually
preserve-
impose clearing restrictions in Shinnecock Hills.
And it's R20, it's not R40.
Oh, Portland, sorry, yeah.
The problem with creating open space parcels in these areas is that who's gonna own them?
Well, that's the other side of it, you know.
Town doesn't want it.
No, I
That's
don't-
it, the other side is the town may not want it, so then the question becomes is if it's not gonna be a town-owned and it's being left to a homeowners association, which I don't know, they're gonna create one for 4 lots,
Right.
Conic Land Trust, then the question is, then we could use any other legal mechanism, an easement or a buffer, you know.
Right,
Yeah, that's how
buffers,
typically
yeah.
we handle it.
It looks right now like the 2 houses are sort of much closer to Montauk Highway than they are to the rest of the property.
Yeah, and that's super conceptual. What we wanted to outline is the lot areas, how big the lots would be, and where the setbacks would fall. And we have no objection to buffer. So using those setbacks in a way to buffer and completely screen the development. I think building 4 houses along Montauk High would prefer to have some of that buffer zone.
I think the
So
people driving by would like to not see the houses, but I think the people in the houses would like to not
See
see.
how to-
No, for sure.
And they don't want to hear.
And that's really the intent of doing the 40,000 versus the 20, because the code does permit 20,000 square foot lots. You would essentially have to clear the entire lot to fit the house, you know, any kind of house there, so, which is why we're going in with the reduction.
So I think what you're hearing is tree preservation
Yep.
is important to us.
Yeah,
right?
not
For
an
human-
issue.
For community character, habitat, all the reasons.
Not an issue.
And so the ways that you could incorporate that into your final plan would be buffers that are, along Montauk Highway and, actually specified where it makes sense. But I think also, even though it's not required, having some kind of clearing restriction, because even though you're using 4 lots instead of 6, the person could still just clear cut their whole lot and maximize it. So, have buffers specified, but then do a clearing restriction to let them figure out what makes sense in terms of navigating.
You know, even
What's
for
remaining
example,
on
on
the
a
site.
design like this, when you have a flag strip that's not gonna be used for access, we can make sure that flag strip stays wooded, you know,
Right.
even on that side of the property. So there are things we could,
What's the property to the east?
The motel.
Motel.
Motel? And on the west, it's just a residence?
Residence, yeah.
Yeah. And it's, so what is this split zoning? This is R20 and,
The entire parcel is R20.
right, but then to the east with a
it's
hotel?
also R20. Yeah, the R20 line
R20
goes
with
to
a
the west,
hotel?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's there a
R20
long
with a
time.
hotel?
Yeah, it's a pre-existing non-conforming.
Non-conforming.
A lot of them around that.
But it seems like a 20-foot buffer along the east, north, and west sides, and then some kind of clearing restriction based on maybe running a few scenarios, what the percentage looks like, reasonable?
Yeah, that's
Could be,
totally reasonable.
And a substantial, I would say, it's a substantial buffer to the north where you have those large trees. Have you done a tree inventory of the
Not yet.
parcel?
Not yet.
Can you take a look at
Yeah,
that
for
to see
sure.
what the
When we
large
pull the
trees are?
survey, we can do an inventory of what's there. And as I stated, our intent is to keep as much buffer from Montauk Highway, and even the hotel to the east, of course. But once we lay out the footprints and determine how big the footprints will be, we can kind of play around with and present to the board.
Now, how will you get in to do your construction? Through Lillian Lane? Or what's the best access
We
here?
could
I have to
utilize-
look at that a little
Okay,
bit, you
but
know,
that's,
but
it's a
it
consideration.
is, you know, because on the one hand, coming through Lillian Lane isn't ideal for the
Not
people
great,
living on
not
Lillian
great.
Lane. It chops up the road. We had this issue.
Sure.
Where someone came in for a temporary access off of Montauk.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it might be something we have to look at, you
Yeah,
know.
temporary
Temporary
access.
replant,
But
wherever
that-
it's least dense.
Yeah, but that's exactly right. Where
Yeah,
Off
which is
inventory.
what we did with another application. There was one section abutting Montauk Highway that was somewhat treeless.
Yeah, very, very light.
Yeah, the corner, the western corner, top corner, looks like it's,
Yeah, it looks like, yeah, the northwest corner would probably be
exactly.
but we can, when we get the survey, we'll tag the trees.
Okay.
But
And the
just
size of the
think
calipers.
about that as well,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
that's,
Because what happens, we get a lot of, or too many over-clearing situations where the contractor says, oh, well, I had to take down all the trees because I couldn't get in the septic and I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that. Well, we're now requiring project limiting fencing
Okay.
on a parcel so that the foliage is not disturbed.
Yeah, absolutely. When you imply
Protection
clearing
fence.
restrictions,
Right.
then, you know, prior to any construction or any clearing, a project limiting fence has to be
yeah,
installed.
you've got to, so that everybody knows you're not supposed to go there.
what about archaeological study?
We have not performed that yet.
That
Okay,
has to be
I
done.
believe at one point it was performed, but we would have to go and,
yeah.
I'm not exactly sure, but just looking back at the old application, it looked like one was performed.
I think it was done.
Okay.
Well,
We had this in before, Anthony, is that what you said?
We had it in for the lot line component of this project.
Of the two,
The two lots to the south to try to just get an access point.
okay,
It was a whole different team.
Yeah.
okay.
This is actually better for me because I know what's happening now, instead of leaving it
Yeah.
open-ended,
Yeah.
for whatever, now we know.
So your
When
intent
was
is
the
to
last
punch through
action?
the cul-de-sac?
Correct.
Right.
Was it in?
They're not
last?
gonna be happy, these
Years
people,
ago.
you know, because they think a cul-de-sac is the dead end, and that's where the kids play. And then you come in and you have to open a cul-de-sac, so there'll be a public hearing on it.
Oh, yeah, there'll be comments for sure.
Yeah, and there was some prior negotiations, as you can see, with the land swaps that were done.
It's presumed that these two people won't
So,
complain about it,
as
but,
you can
know.
see,
They're getting land, right?
they're getting land
yeah.
as part of it,
Getting
so,
land for access.
correct.
So I think that, you know, what you're hearing is the buffering, clearing
Yep, I
restrictions,
wrote all
work it
that.
out.
Is Lillian Lane paved,
Yeah, it's
Anthony?
a town improved.
Because it looks so small here, it looks
It
like.
does, but it is
trees are-
it's a town road.
Okay,
And is there a disturbed area there?
There was an access from Montauk Highway onto that.
No, in the middle.
up
Yeah,
there?
there's something in the middle of the
This-
property.
This is an access to that lot.
Anthony.
Oh, right down there. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is, not popping up.
It was a structure that didn't have a CO from what we were told, so that structure's no longer there. I don't know how old this aerial is, to be honest with you, but there was a structure on site that did not have a CO.
You know, one of the things, we'll have a clearing line shown on a survey, obviously, when we get an application.
Okay. Did you get enough from us?
Yeah.
Anybody
down.
else? Very good? Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
That's something wonderful, to keep as many trees.
We will. Yeah, but no, I can take these back. Figured easier doing it this way.
Claire, are we doing the watermill shops in the work session?
Thanks for coming in.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
So we go to the watermill shops. That's Claire's application. Hello. How are you? Good. Hi, Brian, how are you?
Well, yeah.
Good.
It should be the most recent, so.
Chairs, if you
Yeah, there's a chair over there.
This one?
Yep. Want a chair?
You wanna come up or you good?
No, you sure?
Brian, pull a chair over.
Okay. No problem. Yeah, just make
Chair too. That'd be easier to look at.
There we go.
We got you. Right here?
So, the watermill shops, I think you're familiar with it, we had a lot of changes to it over the years. So these are new owners, and they'd like to present, like an idea about landscaping improvements on the property. And they do wanna go forward with an application to increase the number of units that are permitted on the property, which I think right now is at what, 18?
19, I
Okay.
calculated.
Okay. And then just introduce yourselves to the board.
Yeah.
Well, I'll start. Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.
We came all the way in from California just for this meeting, so we're happy to be here.
Oh,
I
good.
mean, there are worse places and
Right.
weather to show up in.
And this is a nice time of the year.
It is. So
It's
thank you for
not so
having us.
busy.
So David and I are the principals of a company called Runyon. We've been in business for 20 years, mostly on the West Coast, but some East Coast properties. And we specialize in, I would call it boutique retail and restaurant areas around the country. We did a project in Montecito, California called The Post, and you'll notice that this project we call The Post 2. But that's a bit of a misnomer because we've been coming here to this particular set of buildings for over a decade, watching their development. The buildings that we were looking at were 760 Montauk Highway, and this includes both 670 and 760, so they sort of bookend the town, or the commercial strip, if you will. And have been watching 760 and thinking, God, what a beautiful set of buildings and what an incredible opportunity. And I'm sort of sorry to say over that time, we've never seen the buildings live up to their potential, let's say. And we've always come here and said, man, if we could get a chance to try and help and make them what they really could be. And that opportunity came a couple months ago to buy both 760 and 670.
Now, those are the two shopping centers, I'm calling them, on opposite sides of the traffic light.
Exactly correct.
The newer one and the one that's been there with the post office for 100 years.
100%.
Okay.
Correct.
Just so,
And if you're driving in, I don't have to tell anyone here, but it's really the first thing that you see as you come into that commercial strip as the road turns. So we were, really, as far as we see it, lucky enough to have the opportunity to come in and breathe some life and some new ideas into these properties, while obviously respecting all of the history and the zoning that exists currently. So our asks, I should move this a little, our asks won't include any additional square footage, and to my knowledge, won't include anything outside of the current allowed zoning as it is. And they're really going to focus on enhancing what's there now. And frankly, like everything, time has, is kind of tough on buildings, and these haven't had enough love over time. So we're coming not to be prescriptive today, but to ask questions of you all as representatives of the town and stewards of these buildings. As we come up with our plan, how can we, we have some ideas that we've put down on paper, but more as a prompt to be able to listen, so that when we come, we've incorporated a lot of the learnings that we've had here. So I'm happy to sort of walk through the presentation.
Let's do that.
Yeah, and if you guys have had a chance to read it, it's probably like more
They
dense.
they don't have it, they just have our copy, so yeah.
Look at it up
Yeah,
there.
yeah, happy to do it. Okay, good. I'm sorry. So I'll be a little, it's a lot of words and not a lot of pictures, so I'm sorry that, you'll have some
Pictures are
time
good.
with it. Okay. So the first, I almost want to start, if we could, if it's okay, I don't have control over the screen. If we could start at the next slide, that would be really helpful. So the way that we started looking at it was, I'm going to use my words carefully here, but this strip of commercial area doesn't quite feel like the other commercial areas across the Hamptons, let's say.
It's disconnected from the other one.
Yeah, we just said, well, why is that exactly? And I won't read all the words, but there are certain elements that tie, whether it's Bridgehampton or Main Street right here together, that this doesn't have. It's a separate, it's kind of very poorly maintained. In the bottom left, you can see poorly maintained tree wells, just no potted plants out front. The buildings have been sort of left to degrade and the landscaping hasn't been updated. So we started looking and saying, how can we make, and on 670 and 760, I'll use that parlance if it's okay with you guys. How do we make 670, which really sits proud and should feel like the other commercial areas out here, feel more like the commercial areas out here? And we have some suggestions: removing the built-in planters, expanding the sidewalk on our side. Of course, we don't want to get involved with the state and the public side of the sidewalk, but how can we make our side of the sidewalk a little bit bigger, remove the in-ground planting to make it feel better?
Fix the broken bricks so you don't trip.
Yes, 100%. That's the least of it. Let's go to the next slide, please.
We had just one issue here in terms of architectural detail.
Yeah.
Where a lot of the window replacements, the pattern had been divided panels.
Yes.
And there was a lot of resistance to replacing, and so a lot of those windows were replaced with just single panel windows,
Yeah.
which completely then destroys the architectural integrity.
100%. Yeah, our position on windows and doors is, I think there's, and we'll get into it in the presentation, there's probably a pretty good precedent for divided windows and a good precedent for straight through windows, which we have pictures of. We don't, and we'll ask your guys' position on it, we don't have a strong position, but whatever you choose, you got to stick with it. It's got to be uniform across the building, and we'll get into it a bit, but I couldn't agree more. Let's go to the next slide, please. 670 is a really special building. We think it's just magical. And if you look, you'll see the top middle slide is the Post in Montecito that we own and recently opened. Actually the top two slides are buildings that we have, and the U shape around it is the current 670. We think that there's a huge opportunity in those small alleyways for intimate gatherings. People don't like feeling, and we'll get to 760 where we have a beautiful lawn, but there's something wonderful about being closed in. Where we live, there's a place called the Brentwood Country Mart that I think is worth looking at in a neighborhood called Brentwood, which is a very similar sized building that just, you feel, it's a small town feel. You feel good when you walk around these alleyways if they're done properly. So we think there's a huge opportunity to really make those little alleyways special and beautiful. Next slide, please. The next slide actually relates to 760. It's sort of stark coming off of the previous slide. But if you look at the bottom right is a center that we own called the Post, which shows this sort of mix of brick and landscape. And one color brick, like this idea that you're just picking a material palette and sticking with it. And you'll see we can go back to the inner courtyard of 760 in a moment. In fact, if you don't, actually, let's go to the next slide because it has it here. I'm sorry, let's actually go back to the first slide. Sorry to put you to work on the keyboard. One more back, please. Thank you. And if you could enlarge it to whatever extent it's possible for folks to see. That's a real, to use a Yiddish term, a mishmash of concepts in there right now. There's sculptures, there's dead trees, there's dead grass, there's a lot of stuff. And our concept is to actually, and this is really the majority of the work, significant investment that we want to make in making this a reasonable layout where folks can come and enjoy themselves through all seasons on the grass, flanked on both sides by a very rational lineup of trees. And I mean, the drawing kind of speaks for itself. It's taking what's kind of chaos now and moving it into some sort of order where I think people will feel very comfortable spending time, which is what we want to encourage. And let's go to, I'm scared to say it, I think it's slide 6, where we just were. I'll tell you when to stop. That's perfect. Thank you very much. Again, this is our Montecito project on the right with the elements of the trellises, these more intimate moment. So while the central green is going to be this large, sort of organized, rational section, we then want to provide these opportunities. And if you can go to the next slide, please, for intimate spaces. You can see we didn't rehearse this before, but the next slide actually shows, again, the post in Montecito at the bottom, and then the conditions currently at the top of how do we screen from the street while not closing things off. So providing a slight buffer on the highway, and I always think about this, I have 3 young kids. I want this to be a place where I can bring my kids, grab a bite to eat somewhere, and let them run around in that central space without the fear that they could trip and literally fall into the highway. So a buffer, but at the same time, folks driving by not feeling like some sort of private gated estate that they can't come into. So some porousness with some safety elements, and the pitch of the site is very helpful with that. So that's an idea. And I realize I've been talking forever, but we only have a couple slides. Going back to 670 on the next slide, please, is the color palette. I mean, the amount of wires running all over the place that's actually a picture of the place. There's just wires everywhere. They're string lights. Those are actually copper phone lines that are no longer used. So it's not even like utilities running in there. It's just kind of crazy stuff. So cleaning that up quite a bit, and then, bringing in, we use a color we call post green that we developed. It's a color that has a lot of actually precedent out east. So we're excited to hopefully bring elements of that in. And then again, just systematizing and simplifying the architectural details on these buildings, just giving them some love. Next slide, please. On 760, it's the same color palette. The concept is to unite these two areas. They're separated by about, how many?
500 feet?
Yeah, 500 feet and what, 7 buildings?
Yeah.
7 buildings, but we really want them to feel like one idea in terms of at least color palette. And you'll see the green, you'll see the awnings, you'll see the brick. These are all materials that all of you are very familiar with. They're very typical out here, and they happen to be typical in the projects that we own and build also. And then I think to the point that we discussed, windows, awnings, and shutters. Next slide, please. We're showing a precedent for open windows here with awnings, sort of all over Southampton. And there's obviously precedents for other styles of windows. We're here to listen on styles of windows that you guys think are interesting. But ultimately, there just needs to be a decision made and a rationalization, let's call it, of the types of doors and windows, which we're excited to make. Next slide, please. Again, Sagaponack General Store is a wonderful example of vernacular architecture that, was done recently, but that feels really appropriate. And we think that there's great opportunities to bring those sort of porches and that porch vernacular that's very, that exists out here into these buildings, because they have these porches. They're just not given the proper amount of attention. And then last slide, please, relates actually just back to the same concept of doors and windows. Like, there's happen to be a lot of beautiful doors out here and windows. It's just pick one, go with it, get everything to look the same. I don't have a better word. Cohesive, thank you. That's it. We're here to listen. I'd love to get your guys' thoughts on it.
Have you been to the Watermill CAC yet?
This is our first meeting.
Oh, okay. The Watermill has a very active Citizens Advisory Committee.
Of course.
And they're very engaged, and they would give you a lot of really good input if if you try to get on their agenda sooner, the earlier junction, get positive momentum.
100%.
And they'll give you feedback, yeah.
Yeah, they're good. They're
Kind of
good
know what
about
they
that.
like, and we listen to
Yeah.
them.
It's great, I
Rachel
appreciate that.
Verno is the president.
Yeah, they're definitely on our list.
Yeah.
Good.
We figured we'd go right to the source to start.
Yeah, they meet monthly, I think.
So I have a couple of questions. You have the Post, and it's in Montecito.
Yeah, Montecito.
Okay, we're not California. And I bring that up because of foliage.
Yeah.
You have beautiful wisteria blooming. A lot of your presentation is rich, lush flowers and trees and grasses. Well, we have grasses. So I think you need to keep that in mind, that in the winter, when it's snow, it can be pretty stark, so whatever you put in has to have some robustness, sort of.
We've really become students. There's a woman called Stacy Patzel, who's our landscape architect, who's taken us under her wing and explained seasons to us. And
She's excellent.
yeah,
She's
I mean,
a
we were just with her about an hour ago. It was like, and she's been so wonderful to us because she's like, oh, poor California boys, like you have no idea. And what's, I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I was so struck by this idea that like, it's actually so much more fun to design landscape out here because it's dynamic, that it'll become different things in different
Or
seasons. Yeah, where we live, it's kind of all the same all the time, and it's beautiful, but so she's been hard at work. She did all these plans and will be our person, but yes, sorry, I got very excited
So
when
you
you
took that,
mentioned
well,
that.
that's great. And then my second question was, you mentioned the buildings, and you mentioned primarily landscaping changes, but there could be a lot of architectural changes, it seems.
We have quite a few ideas, and we just don't want to trigger entitlements and coming to ask folks for things and taking a lot of time. We really want to get busy with this. The main architectural work that we're going to do is full paint everywhere, fixing up all of the problematic siding, and then adding some detailing, and David will help me, dormers and
Just new
yeah, exactly.
awnings, new trim for, like if different door handles, the lighting fixtures that go in, all the like little features that make a place feel really charming. We've studied just a lot of the architecture here, and, the buildings are right now very much a blank canvas. They're kind of don't have a lot of the detailing that you see in the more historic, beautiful buildings around here, and we think that there's really creative ways that we can bring that charm into this environment, and ultimately with the new landscaping, make it feel like a place that people want to spend
I
time.
think having the narrow alleyways really goes a long way.
it's
I really-
beautiful.
Really embrace that
The
whole concept.
East Hampton has a lot of that. Have you been there?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, we've been out studying for a
Yeah, I
decade,
mean,
waiting for
they've
this
used
moment.
those little alleyways with
That's really gonna
shops
be a
and,
plus.
which is
I was just
nice.
gonna, people love like that element of discovery where like sometimes you want to be in a big open space with your kids, and there's other times you like want to have a more intimate conversation and want to tuck into a little area where it's
Yeah.
an intimate seating area, or there's like a beautiful other feature. And so for us, it's really important to design these properties in a way where you can have larger, more expansive opportunities for gathering, and other areas where you can kind of discover your favorite place to have coffee in the morning, or the favorite place to meet your spouse, etc. And so every little area, we're being very mindful of programming.
And now that outdoor dining is permissible in the town, whatever retail shops go in there, if you consider an element of bringing the tables outside so people can experience the greenery that you're putting in. Because we don't have any of that here.
Yeah,
It's interesting, even into the fall, there's no place to go outside and then have a
And
park
hang.
in the middle of it.
We're really excited about we have an architect, also happens to be North Shore, started a company called Shop Companies in New York, which is probably one of the largest architecture firms in the country now, most successful. And then she kind of said, okay, we did that, and she's out here now. And we lucked into being able to have her be part of this project too, in her like sole proprietorship away from Shop. So we got a really good team that's thought a lot about this already.
Great. Would you be able to show us the next iteration of your plans?
Oh, yeah. Oh, no,
Because these are just all conceptual.
Oh, yeah. So where we are in the process is we are closing on the site at the beginning of the year. And to be totally frank, interested in discovering the process for trying to do what we want to do. And where in other places that we've done business, painting and changing the landscape on your property is a over-the-counter permit, and certainly not something that you have to go through an entitlement and what's the word I'm looking for?
Like a regulatory board.
Well, certainly that
Variances and
they
things
can say yes or no to.
Well,
Thank
that
you.
usually
A
falls
discretionary
under
approval.
Expedited plan.
Yeah, but, you know,
Claire will guide you. 'cause
Oh, Claire's
she's-
been incredible so
yeah,
far. But
she's-
what I said to Claire was, Claire, listen, I mean, the investment that we're gonna make here is, we'll probably spend as much on fixing it up as we did buying it. And in order to feel comfortable with that, we asked to come see you all to understand, like, is this something that people are gonna want? We went into contract and said, well, we assume that painting and doing landscape and demising the spaces from, it was a Soul Cycle at one point, that 5,000 feet, we want that to be a couple places, wouldn't be something that would rise to the level of a discretionary approval. And it's our understanding that, like, even items like this, landscape, paint, et cetera, are discretionary, which is why I said to David this morning, I said, that's why this place looks like it looks, because everything is considered and thoughtful. But we kind of have to make a decision over the next couple weeks as to whether we're going to move forward with this or not, and the levels of, like, risk of doing this. Like, we could end up in a position, by no one's fault, where we've bought this and we're like, we really want to paint it, we want to redo the landscaping, and then we come before the town and the
I think you
answer is
have to
no.
give Claire a list of what you want to
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And she can tell you what can be expedited, because we've seen many times, we're just painting.
Yeah.
And then the whole wing of the building is taken down.
Yeah.
So,
You're closing in January, and
Yeah.
I'm guessing we want to get the ball rolling by Memorial Day? If I got that
Oh,
right?
yeah, no, just our schedule is, the work wouldn't start.
Think of phasing.
Yeah.
Say, like, I got some tenants, Memorial Day is the start of the season out here.
Yeah.
What can we get done for Memorial Day?
Yeah.
Let's get that phase, so phase it out, it really benefit you.
Yeah, we're
about it.
we're just looking, we're not really looking seasonally here. Like, our view is, sure, the summer's great, but our intention is to build something, we've never sold a building, like, we just own it for the long term. That's sort of a family concept. And not that David and I are family, but each of our families, in the sense that we're not really quick flip type people. So it would be buying it and going through the process, and the work probably wouldn't start until after, this time next year, I think. But we just have to, I just want to get a read from you all as to, like,
well,
if you're interested in this kind of thing or not. And if
Of
it's-
course.
Stuff.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I gotta
But you
make
also have
yeah.
a brand-new multi-family condo unit right next to you.
Sure.
They can walk to the center.
Listen, we're
So you-
sold. We love this place. I don't want
So
to.
you understand that?
Yeah, of course.
And,
One of the things I wanted to
Yeah.
mention is that we've recently begun paying more attention to the parking lots.
Yeah.
Now, I have not been in this parking lot in a long time, but if there's anything you can do, we're looking at landscaping and parking lots and things like
100%.
that, just to make it, warmer and friendlier, because obviously they're going to be in the parking lot to get to your properties. If there's anything you can do in that area.
100%. Well, we've looked at, and let me see if we're on the same page. And our budget is lighting and landscape improvements. And I don't know if there's anywhere on Montauk Highway for a shopping area, maybe besides the old Kmart Center, that has as much parking as this does.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Does have a
and
lot.
no one knows. Like, it's a
well,
huge-
we also have cross-access agreement with, what's the name, Fairfield? What is it? It's not
The
Fairfield.
one next door?
Next door.
Watermill.
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 Crossing.
And there's a light.
Wow.
And there's a light right there,
Yeah,
which
there's a
makes it easy to
signal.
turn into.
There's a signal, right?
But there is also a conversation with the state to eliminate
Eliminate
that
that light.
light.
Take the light out?
Yeah, they-
And put in two roundabouts, one
Oh, my goodness.
on the
That's fun.
west side of Flying Point Road, Cobb Road, that comes out just west of the older of your properties.
Yeah.
And then down further on Scuttle Hole.
Wow,
So there would be two
fascinating.
roundabouts and no light.
Yeah, if you want to
That
head
could be
east, you
lovely,
go
I
to the
think.
roundabout, yeah.
I mean,
And
the
the
works both
hamlet.
ways.
have
Yeah.
people.
Just right turns.
So
Yeah, it's much-
only make
it's
right
much-
turns.
What do you guys like the roundabout idea or no?
I think
Yes.
roundabouts are great.
We have, right in front of the Montecito property, they built a roundabout.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Tom will tell you, every time you have a signal, Tom is our traffic.
Traffic.
It backs up.
So we're
Cars.
trying to get into
Keep 'em
the
moving.
roundabout
Right.
idea in some places.
I
and
think it's-
that's
I think it's
one where we
great.
think it might
Claire is
work.
approaching.
You
Sorry,
unrelated
I'm a big
thoughts to the trajectory?
Yeah, we have a few more thoughts
So,
before we close out.
Just for perspective, so 25 years ago, there was a college in Southampton, and that, the main property there that I think maybe, I don't even know what it is now, what used to be a Blockbuster Video.
Yeah, yes,
Right?
yes,
And
yes.
so, people would go there and go get your Chinese food. And
100%.
there was also another restaurant that was a local chef bringing in local food. And I think one of the things that I've seen and have worked in agriculture and various forms here, but there are a lot of farmers and food producers looking for retail space to showcase, right? But the cost of the overhead is so high, and then also what kind of water in and out credits do you have on the site to add a cafe or a little, eatery or something like that? I feel like we're lacking culture, and I think you're creating a space that could invite that, kind of cafe, bookshop, live music, local food. Stony Brook Village, Greenport has this,
Greenport's
good
great.
examples of places to visit, which you may have already been. But I hear what you were saying about let's increase from 19 to question mark units, which maybe makes smaller places for more people.
More affordable.
And I think keeping that affordability component, you've got people using the Stony Brook incubator at Calverton, creating amazing products. There's nowhere to go for those people to have retail space, and it could be really great to bring to the community, and you have a ready audience that is looking for that, but we're seeing a lot of corporate takeover because the rents are so high. So just something to keep in mind.
I should have started the conversation with that. That is literally what we specialize in. We started 20 years ago working with small independent retailers and restaurants. And to this day, that's all that we do. So the idea of taking the spaces down from a 5,000 foot space, which you call, to a 1,000 foot space makes it attainable for small businesses. With regard to the farmers, I think there's such a lovely idea because we have an acre in the middle of 760 to set up farm stands, right? So no overhead and the ability for families to come and have an experience where they don't have to buy a piece of clothing and go to the restaurants. They can come do maybe an honor farm stand, or on the weekends they staff them with folks. That adds to the feel that we have, and is exactly the kind of thing that we do. And I would say don't believe us, go check there's a place called Platform in Los Angeles that we own, much more urban, different thing. And then the Post in Montecito is very much worth looking at because it's a good precedent for this.
We have only independent tenants in that property. There's no big chains in that
And
property.
just looking at the Ag and Markets, New York State Ag and Markets has the 20C license, food manufacturing
100%.
versus the Suffolk County Health Department, and people could, move into those spaces and you wouldn't have as much demand on the sewage the sewage flow. So,
100%.
I think looking creatively and what the direction that you're heading is really
100%.
great. So.
And then I do want to address what you said in terms of sewage and septic. There's a pretty robust system there. We're not asking for more wet uses. We would swap wet for wet, dry for dry, and we're not going to put any more infrastructure into place. That's the whole concept that we're going, is using what's there. But yeah, we're nervous, to be honest with you. I have never dealt with a situation where we're going to have to make a financial commitment without knowing whether we can paint our place. And
That's a building permit, right?
You'll
Paint
find
is
a
not
lot of
an issue.
cooperation.
and landscape, you think?
Well, I mean, changing the color of the paint?
Same family? Of whites?
Yeah, so, I mean,
You know
I'm gonna
what we're
say,
trying to do.
yeah, 99.9% chance you'll get the paint.
Right, and you'll reserve the 0.1%. I'm just dealing in percentages
We
here.
deal in earth tones out here,
Yes.
so,
No pinks.
Yeah, no pinks,
And
no
the
purples, you're good.
landscape, how robust, what do you, I don't know, I can't, I flew all the way out here to
We-
look in your
Well,
guys'
you have
eyes,
to.
faces
Yeah,
to
we
get
have
it.
lists. We have lists of
give Claire
plans.
more
Yeah,
information.
I will.
The CAC is a good resource.
Yeah.
They really
I
interact.
gotta get with them.
And
Yeah.
we have recommended lists of plants that
Oh, yeah, oh, no, we're all over all those.
Stacy is on the board for the Landcraft Garden Foundation
Yes,
in,
she's
on the
well.
North Fork. She is an excellent
Yeah.
choice.
Oh,
and
no,
she'll
we're not
use a lot
messing
of
around out.
natives.
We-
That's an excellent choice. Not worried
I
about it.
gotta make a decision in the next 3 weeks. Like, am I gonna get stuck with this shopping center that is not to our standards and have paid way too much money for it and not be able to do this thing?
Well,
And
you
by the way,
have to make a more detailed plan.
of course,
okay?
of course.
Yeah.
A lot of cooperation.
One from a zoning perspective, the current, what are we? We were a Hamlet retail center, the density 1 per 1,500 square foot. It seems that use was kind of created for this project. From what
Yeah.
I saw foiling, like I think you created this specific zoning for this use when it was approved back in the late 90s. We may want to go slightly above that to 1 per every 1,000, 1,250 per square feet, which we know will be a zoning as well. But like, is that something that seems aggressive to you guys? If we go from 18 where we are currently to 22, 23 spaces?
Basically not expanding the footprint of any building.
I
but
think
being
it's
able
smart
to-
for the reasons that I was identifying, and I know
Smaller
many
shops.
people.
Smaller shops,
That's
really.
market.
No increase, the parking will work, the sanitary
Right.
flow will work from what we've seen so far.
It's like Bergdorf when they had smaller
This is
shops.
what we're trying to
Great.
do is bring density and activity to Hamlet Center, so,
To be a vibrant, it's not vibrant right
yeah,
now.
no.
No,
we'll-
well,
we'll
Watermill
definitely- we
is
can
like a
definitely-
pass
I-
I live
through.
5 minutes from there.
Yeah, we wanted to have a lot of
Yeah.
stuff to do.
We'd like to see it
So,
succeed.
if I may, because I have to
Please.
close this
Yes,
work
yeah, of
session,
course.
make a list of what you need immediately and a timetable.
Yeah.
Phase it, as Dennis said, so that you know what you're doing, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I think when you put it down on paper, it becomes much clearer.
Yeah.
And review it with Claire. Claire
Yeah.
will say, I think you could do that easily.
Yeah.
But not that. That, you're gonna need planning board approval for.
Right.
So make your list, and
Yeah,
Brian will
yeah,
guide you
Claire's
as
been
well.
great so far, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, really appreciate
Okay,
your guys'
Can you give me your
time.
last name?
Miller is the last
Oh,
name.
that's easy. David Miller?
No, David Fishbein
Oh,
and
David
Joseph Miller.
Do you live in Montecito or in Brentwood?
Fine.
Nah, I live in LA.
Oh, LA, okay. I used to live in Montecito.
Fifth generation, they'll never get me out of LA.
love it.
Montecito's wonderful.
Yeah, 11 minutes to Rincon.
Yeah. Ooh, that's good. You surf or no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great. Sorry.
Okay, thank you very much.
for your time.
Good luck, it's exciting.
Stay well, guys.
Bye.
Identify yourself.
Brian Locasso with the Adam Miller Group.
We know this
Yes,
guy.
Brian.
Good to see you, Brian.
Down.
I'm Jameson McWilliams from the Adam Miller Group.
Oh, you're with Adam Miller as
Yes.
well?
Oh,
Great.
okay, good.
They're so good, and that's saying.
Thank
see you.
you, okay.
Thanks for coming in.
So we're closing the work session and going back into the regular session. And number 5, Mark Saladino, if Seth, that's you? 97 Fanning Avenue in Hampton Bays.
So, at our last meeting, we reviewed the draft pre-app report that I presented. You asked me to make a revision.
Seth, I think that there's a problem, because it's 5 of 6, it's just
I
one page that you
saved it.
changed?
I saved the trees
Okay,
because I made
awesome,
one
thank
small
you. For context, I just,
alteration.
sometimes we pass it down, and then everyone, you have 1 and 2, I have 3 and 4, so I just wanted to make sure we weren't going down a dangerous path here. Okay.
This is
This
just
is
a
pages 5 and 6. Oh, okay.
That's what, yeah.
We had covered it all before.
Okay.
This is a minor subdivision in the R20 zone. It's
This is our
97
map?
Fanning.
Yep. Remember there were 2 existing houses there?
You may recall that's an accessory apartment up there in the
Yeah.
northeast corner, and they're dividing off the northwest corner. So we had taken a look at a potential conservation buffer, which I have enumerated in this new draft version as a 20-foot buffer to follow the northern property line. And just for your information, that would equate to 4,156 square feet of non-disturbance and non-fertilization area.
What's the percentage then of the property? Did you do that?
The actual percentage of the property was it's divided between the 2 properties, so it's partially in the proposed flag lot, and I don't know, I didn't take it out of each one, but I can certainly sit down and crunch the numbers in 2 seconds.
Are you going through the recommendations? Is that what you're doing?
I had gone through them at length at the last meeting, so this was the only one I highlighted, and you had asked me to bring back the clarity that you gave me on
Are we doing septic upgrades, Seth, with
Yes, yes,
Okay.
certainly. And
That's
I
to be
understand that's a
helpful.
requirement.
requirement? Okay. Good.
Yes, well, the original house is staying as it is. Is it in my recommendations? And I
Why
think
don't
you
you-
might recall that Mark Saladino has said he had just spent considerable monies putting in a new septic system. It was not an IA system, but it was a new septic system. At our last meeting, it was mentioned.
Why don't you just systematically go through these recommendations so we can
Okay,
have
I'm
a
sorry, I was trying to
discussion?
save the
That
board
was
some
my
time.
fault, Jackie. I advised him, as the principal planner, not to print out 20 pages.
No,
of
that's
it.
okay, but the recommendations will go down one by one.
Sure, why not? Yeah, so I had asked them to verify their setbacks. I had pointed out that the height of the accessory building was very close to the proposed lot line that divided in a north to south orientation to the accessory apartment. They produced in front of the board an elevation showing that it was beyond the 16 feet.
So that's okay.
So that was good.
So you'll,
I still would like the building department to make sure, so I kept that one in. The second one was they will provide a revised subdivision map with the exact location, because I had the covers only for the septic system, and the connection between the principal dwelling and the accessory garage apartment. They will furthermore show the water and electrical lines from the principal to that accessory structure. Further, the applicant shall consider updating the septic system to an IA for the existing residence and therefore, and the accessory apartment. So,
do
it
we
was a
have,
recommendation.
yeah, do we have any policy that if there are two parcels and two houses and one is going to be new, that the existing
Well,
parcel has to also upgrade?
I think
Is
the
there-
health department.
This is a
Will the health
Well,
department?
what's gonna happen is they're gonna go to the health department.
Yeah.
And if there's, well, first of all, the accessory apartment in the back is going to get a new IA system, period, end of
Right,
story. That's clear.
exactly.
The existing house, that will be dependent upon the health department.
Okay.
Sometimes they require it for one reason or another. If it's completely outdated,
Yeah.
it was built in the 70s, they're gonna, regardless of not doing anything, they'll make you update it.
Right,
If it's one, not a new system, but one of the older ones that was more contemporary, they may let it slide. It really
okay, so it's health department, right?
So, yeah, they do have final say, that's their jurisdiction.
And you say
They
that.
will need, my last recommendation is they will need Suffolk County Department of Health Services approval, as all subdivisions do. The third point is it is located in the archaeological sensitive area, so they will require a Phase 1A, Phase 1B archaeological report. There's our new system on Lot 2. Then, what I had discussed earlier, or I was attempting to pin down, was the consideration of a buffer on this property. As you can see, there is considerable undisturbed land there in the north. That is where the new flag lot will be situated, to the left of the accessory apartment. So I have seen, there is a buffer on the lot to the west, that's the Teresi, yeah, there it is. So this would be perpendicular to that, of the same width, following the back property line. And I thought this might serve as not only, obviously, preserving the native vegetation, but also a corridor of sorts.
Wildlife, corridor, yeah.
Yeah,
What do you figure, 20 feet? Ray?
I had recommended 20 feet,
Nice.
so,
Yeah, that works.
so I did put that in my in the newer version, which I can read. The newer version would say the planning board has considered the environmental conditions found on and around the subject parcel and recommends the creation of a covenanted non-disturbance, non-fertilization buffer to follow the northern property line through the proposed Lot 1 and Lot 2 for a width of 20 feet. So it also divides it amongst the two lots. Each one is contributing in there. The sixth point is the standard issue compliance with the town engineer requirements. Again, with the fire prevention recommendations. The noting on the subdivision map of the clearing restrictions per the NLEB from December 1st to February 28th. And lastly, again, the Health Department has jurisdiction over the septic systems, and they will need approval from them.
I had a question on this one, because Tom brought up the design standards, and I don't think we, Dennis, you had weighed in on that, but we really didn't get a final determination from council, which I think is important, on the bulk of the area being outside of the flag portion.
The 1.5 times, you mean?
Right. So that, to me, is still a question that I think is important to answer before.
It's not in the zoning ordinance, so
Okay.
it's not a zoning issue. It is in 292, which is a design standard. That's my
It's a design
understanding.
standard.
To Kate's point, I think what she was saying is last time.
Shouldn't we
read it out
follow a
loud, it
design
said,
standard?
Shall,
Shall, which
require.
is-
However,
Right.
we've been doing this for decades now and looking at this design standard. The subdivision regulations, if you're in zoning, you have no ability to modify unless you're doing a cluster plan. The subdivision regulations, and it says it right at the end, the very last thing in the subdivision, the planning board has the ability to modify any of the regulations if they determine that so that's probably, why we haven't, treated as you said, because it says shall. We've never really done that. We've looked at it in certain instances, required it. It doesn't happen very often. We see it more often when we get larger subdivisions, and we have several flag lots within a
Yeah.
larger subdivision. These 2 lots, we don't see it very often.
Guidelines.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are,
These are the revised recommendations that would be with the draft.
Re-app
pre-application
report.
report that I presented.
okay, is everybody cool with this?
Okay.
Yep. Move it. Motion by Dennis, second by Tom. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you, Seth.
Move on to the
You're
next
right
one.
on to Patricia Thompson.
No, he does, he's good for a bit.
Come on up. Yes.
Okay.
Hello.
How are you?
I think I printed one too few.
That's okay, so don't worry. Good.
Get running start.
And your names for the record? Patricia?
This
Yes.
is Patricia Thompson, my client, the owner of the property. My name is Robert Fischetti. I am Patricia's attorney.
Okay, welcome. So we're looking at a draft pre-application report. This project is located at 37 North Bishop Lane in Tuckahoe. This is the R20 zoning area. Furthermore, it's part of the archaeological sensitive area. The lot size is 60,581, otherwise also 1.4 acres. So the subject property is currently improved with a single-family residence, as you can see there on the east side of close to the east property line, fronting on Bishop, North Bishop that is. The proposed subdivision will create 2 conforming lots, a Lot 2 of measuring 30,320 square feet and a Lot 1 of 30,262. The Lot 1 is the flag lot, accessible via a 20-foot flag strip following the northern property line. So I guess you can visualize it by the wooded area in the back. East of that it would be the property line, and again, to the north is the access route. In regards to the surrounding
Do you
area,
have a site plan you could put up?
Map?
Map or something?
There's a map there.
there's one
Oh,
here as
okay.
well.
I'll bring it to you.
The wooded area, you can see there's a clearing line there.
Okay. In regards to the surrounding area, you'll see to the west that it's delineated as preserved land, but it is owned by the town of Southampton. So it is public land. This is 344 McGee Street, and currently has an active application for a community pool, and that's the Star Aquatic.
Property in green?
Yes, so that was the one that's shown, highlighted with green surrounding it. And the little triangle or trapezoid down there is associated with it. So that is immediately to the west. Then you can see to the north, there's the Highway Business District, and that has a S&M storage and warehousing business.
Is that the big,
That would
that
be
building?
that, yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a Morton? Is that what we?
Morton Building.
Yeah. And then you can see that there is a mixture of different single-family residences. I looked, they vary between 20,000 and 35,000 square foot properties.
And this is R20.
This is R20.
Yeah.
And that commercial,
The
That's
commercial
zoning,
is
that's in the highway business, I think.
highway business.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you see the red line, that's the
Yeah,
division line.
that's the zoning line.
So the applicant brought in a standard plan, which showed the creation of this flag lot. I did not feel that the cluster plan was warranted. I proposed that to you. As now, the Conservation Board did consider it open space. I am looking at something that the town wishes to develop as an
Yeah.
aquatic recreation center.
So they weren't aware of that.
Right,
Conservation.
perhaps they didn't put the
Right.
two together.
Yeah.
At any rate, so I did not feel that the cluster plan was warranted. I felt I
The
would
planning board
propose-
waived it, right?
Yeah.
At the.
Submission
The planning board waived it
Yeah.
already at the
All right.
time of,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, well then enough said.
yeah.
So, then it's obviously a minor subdivision pursuant to the 292-6. The conformance with zoning, both lots will conform with zoning. I had brought up again the 1.5 times design standard. This is an interesting one insofar as the entirety of the lot would meet that standard, but it does call for the reduction of the flagpole, which would put it underneath. So it is conforming obviously with R20, but that 1.5, if you deducted the flag, it's 26,000 as opposed to 30,000.
Again, not usually enforced on a.
Not an
2 acre.
enforceable, I shouldn't say
Well, it's
enforceable.
not-
Enforceable, but I just mean it's not usually
It's not in the
implemented on
zoning
a
code.
2
It's
acre.
not a zoning
Yeah.
requirement, it's a design requirement. In other words, you take an R20 zone, you take a 50,000 square foot box, you don't go 25 and 25. You go 20 on the road, you go 30 in the back. If you have that ability, that's the whole driving force behind it.
Moving on to the secret classification, it is a type 2 action. I did note in that section, though, that again, it is in the New York State Archaeological Sensitive Area, requiring further study. The park requirement in this case, the area is underserved. However, this is creating just one additional lot. So a payment of a park fee in lieu of parkland of $2,500 would be something we suggest. The public comments, there was a public hearing on August 28th, and there was no public comments received. This is not subject to the Long Island Workforce Housing Act. And then moving into the referrals, I'll try to just highlight the key points. The town engineer on August 25th did mention that the existing encroachments on the north side of the property are to be removed. You can't really see them, but there, I guess the neighbor to the north has a shed
And a rail fence.
and a fence. So those would need to be removed, and the Suffolk County water main needs to be depicted in the final map.
What are we doing with septic on this one?
The septic is, again, shown as covers. I would say that we need to also show the exact location of the septic system.
Is Health Department Health going to require IA on the existing house?
Oh, for sure.
On the new one, for sure, they'll look at, we'll have to get it certified, the system in the front, and they'll decide if it meets their criteria to
Right,
be
or
able
they
to.
want to upgrade.
That's going to totally their call then.
Say again?
That's it.
Totally
It's their call.
Yes, these are their call. We can call it out on the map.
And so then our next version of the map, once we've gone to the health department, we'll show the full, the location and proposed and existing area.
Then the town engineer did go on to mention that there should be some updates on the bearing lines that are required for the final map as well. as well as monuments and 3-inch, drainage for the impervious surfaces. The Town Conservation Board, they had quite a few recommendations, and I guess we'll just address each one as it's listed. So they did do an environmental assessment. They did call out, as I pointed out to you, that next door was 10-plus acres of public open space and recreational grounds. I would say that recreational grounds, or when it was recently granted, there was a grant by the town to the village for $45,000 for the IA system next door. They called it a comfort station. So it is recreation, comfort.
You mean on the pool property?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but that's their property.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's separate. I'm just trying to say, it being close, abutting open space, or is it I'm trying to define exactly what's next door. And it seems to me it's for development, comfort station, recreation.
Yeah.
This is not a park.
Yeah, whatever, yes.
Yeah, it was.
You can name it what it is.
Yeah, the purpose of the purchase was for active recreation.
I think it seems to me like, so the town conservation board's comments are sort of under the umbrella of thinking it's a park and
GIS pulls it up as a preserved area.
Oh, so that needs
So
to be
that is
updated.
an initial thing.
And it was preserved initially as open space. When Star came in and wanted to use the property, the town went back to Fred Thiel to get an opinion on whether or not this was an acceptable use for open space. So it was initially not purchased for a pool.
Okay.
Okay. So the Conservation Board did say,
So they want a buffer,
yes,
because again, here we have a property that's heavily treed in the area where you want to build a home.
their
So,
recommendation was to preserve the naturally vegetated lands, and I believe they were suggesting a minimum of 50 feet unfenced conservation buffer along the westerly rear boundary of property 1, which would be the division with the town-owned land.
just,
Fanning, we did 20 feet though. Yeah, the 50. Yeah. 20 is what we did on the last map, in Hampton Bays.
I think 20, I think would be a
20 or
much more
even-
palatable.
I mean, I would even want more, but I don't know where you're gonna have you have space to build a house.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll be a modest house.
It's a buffer against more, at least that back part of the property, from what I understand, even when the pool goes, would still be, so we're not separating any two uses as much as just sort of adding a buffer onto what is gonna stay a section of
Yeah.
wooded open space.
But we're trying to keep some trees here.
No, understood. Our bigger concern, and not to jump ahead, is the trail proposal. Sorry, I'll let you
We'll
finish.
get to that.
Yeah, I'll let you finish.
Otherwise, yeah, we'll be going round and round.
Yeah,
So Conservation did suggest the 50 feet, and they did offer us some numbers for us to understand what that would set aside. The preservation threshold would amount to 8,650 square feet, which is equal to 33% of the area of Lot 1, excluding the flag strip. And this would be less than the 40% lot area protection standards for the same size lot in APOD. So that's their suggestion to the board. Then we can move on to the Trails Advisory Board, who are also interested in perhaps, well, they have proposed a 20-foot wide strip to be created on the southern property, southern border of the property, to provide for a pedestrian/biking link from North Bishop Lane to the proposed aquatic center.
Do you have an overlay for the trails?
We do, certainly.
So these are the trails. Can you see the trails are in yellow?
Yeah.
Not County Road 30, but here, and then the walking trail that's associated with McGee. Is the McGee Park? Moses Park.
Moses Park.
In the village, where you have the access for the village. So it's down here.
There's
That's
nothing,
the closest trail, right?
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's correct. So their thought is North Bishop running north-south. There's no connection from the lower park there with its trail to anything over to the west. So Again, their idea is to set aside a public access easement. Their suggestion was 20 feet. Perhaps we can consider less. I did see it as, there was potential, it showed potential. If this is truly a recreation center, there will be a lot of people biking and walking to that center.
Understood all, I understand that logic, but this is an illogical connection. It's not, doesn't
serve
seem
the
to me
trails, and it
to
seems like
see, there's probably better trail connections here that can be mapped out. Why, I would ask that the trails submit to us a proposal about how, the way we do cross-access maps, give us a map about how they see a connection, because this property is to the north.
Our concern about the connection too is if that is then going to be used as the aquatic center, we're not talking about a connection to really a trail system for hiking. We're talking about now a commercial access to
Yeah.
a commercial property. Are there going to
Understood.
then be people parking on Bishops and?
Right.
Understand,
That's
yeah.
a big concern for us.
Yeah, it's a residential area, so they've got to be, they should be able to figure out or propose to us where they would like it, so that,
Okay.
Is that meaning not on, we don't support it on this property. Are you suggesting that the trail should be on a different property or a different part of this property?
well, I'll leave it up to the trails.
I
Let
think it's
them
too
give
small.
us a
It's very close.
proposal.
Yeah, we also have the neighbor Mark
Vagianos.
here in the crowd as well. He owns the property to the south. He's also, he would be between this property and the, on the other side of the trail, and is also, I don't want to speak for him, but also opposed to the idea for
Yeah.
privacy and
It seems to be not a very logical, usable
Yeah, it's too constrained.
location for
This
it.
property's too constrained for
Yeah.
a trail.
When we get to the recommendations, I will eliminate it. It was,
Or you can explain why.
yes, of
That
course,
we-
no, I will
yeah.
put it without a proposed linkage, that it didn't seem a reasonable request. That was the advisory board, so Southampton Office of Fire Prevention, as their recommendations were the standard issue.
But we want a buffer on that southern end too, so they're not clear cutting right down to.
Yes.
To Vagianos. We want to keep some of the natural vegetation on the south
You
too.
want a buffer.
Like here?
It doesn't have to be,
Along the.
yeah, along the southern,
The
along
southern
that southern
line.
edge.
Something just to
So
keep
property
the
owner
tree
can't
line?
clear cut right down to the
Right.
property line.
I know since this is R20, the accessory structure setback is 10 feet. Could we keep that buffer
Yeah,
to 10
I
feet?
mean,
That way it's not taking away from
You
the accessory
understand the
envelope.
intent.
So this is something I can add to the recommendations, would be the addition of a 10-foot buffer along the southern property line?
Yeah,
And that's a non-disturbance, non-vegetation.
non-disturbed, yeah. That way you keep the natural greenery, it serves both property owners.
That's fine.
And you were here probably to hear the last conversation, but we're going to require project limiting fence on your property when you build, so that whatever is, we've determined to be a buffer, stays a buffer.
Okay.
So that fire prevention standard issue recommendations, similar for Department of Health Services. They have not received a wastewater application, and they will need to, the applicant will need to submit one in order to move forward to final application. Fire districts, again, no action, no recommendations. Moving on to the board's recommendations. The number one, I had put down that the planning board has considered these environmental conditions, would like to put a covenanted conservation buffer to follow the western property line, and
And why don't you add the southern,
yep,
So could we say 20 feet in the back
So I-
and 10 on the side? Is that?
we
Yeah, I think
said
that works,
20.
yeah. 20 and 10.
I would go for 25, but 20 is all right, such a tiny lot,
Thank you.
Appreciate it, yes, thank
as long as you save the trees.
Final word is 20, then.
Do I hear 25?
I always thought that
22,
you
22.
couldn't cut down, a certain amount of trees anyhow.
you.
There's.
It's a different part of the town. You're not in that.
Oh,
that aquifer.
okay.
Restriction here,
Oh,
so we
okay.
put it into the site
You know,
plan.
we built our house
And-
20 years ago, and we could only cut a certain amount of trees. I'm in the woods.
Yeah.
And
That's
it was
good.
like, you can't clear the whole thing,
No.
so.
So the 20 is the west side and the south side, or
Well, I
we're
think 10
discussing?
I heard 10.
South on,
I heard
10 on the south and then 20 on the west?
That's, I think, what we said earlier.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
You want to keep the hedge, the trees, it shows right on the map there. See the hedge, the trees?
Yeah, we just keep that in
What
place.
what is that? Is that 10 feet?
You
I don't
can
know.
augment that as well. I mean, what is it, just a low hedge? I mean, we would
What's
want
hedge?
more than
It's
that.
trees.
Yeah, it's a tree line. I can find out what the distance is there.
You don't want a future property owner just clearing,
Yeah.
clear cutting that.
So I will add that
So
into
language
the,
then on the trail,
yes, without a proper linkage being demonstrated by the Trail Advisory Board,
Yeah.
yeah.
we prefer not to put a public easement.
No.
That's not the right way to say
Not
it.
the right way to say it, no.
Could you just eliminate
Property
that?
doesn't present
Number
itself,
two?
the opportunity for,
I think we have to address.
given the size of the
different
property
points.
and the constraints, doesn't present the opportunity
Right,
for a
it's not
meaningful
for the
trail
applicant to-
linkage.
I'm also not sure North Bishop has the kind of width for kind of a natural bike route or something. That's pretty tight up there, as I remember.
It is quite tight. I've biked in there, and with the traffic, it can get pretty dicey.
Yeah.
So, the opportunity does not present itself in this, on this property, and due to the size and constraints, the planning board considered it and is not in favor of a public easement at this time.
Good. So you have historic and landmarks districts, because it's
Yes,
1930? The existing residence is 1930.
Yes, so that will be a referral at the final application, as will the submission of a archaeological report. And then the last four are the compliance with other agency requirements, town engineer, fire prevention, updating of the subdivision map for the clearing restrictions, and I did want to add that we have advised the applicant that septic flow credits may be required, as this is located in groundwater management zone 5, and the proposed lot size is less than 40,000. That's Health
Good.
Department.
Yeah, yeah. Do you have any more questions of us?
No, I think we're okay with everything that's said.
Any more questions from anybody on the board? Okay, so we'll move to accept this pre-app report. Motion by Gloria, and second by Kate. All in favor? Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, and 1 absent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Claire here? Yeah. Number 7, 25 Sandy Hollow.
Yeah.
Could you lean in and and then could you get Wayne to come in? Yes. Get Wayne. Yeah. There's a couple plans.
Right.
Share.
Share and share. 3.
Brenna,
Yeah.
I think we'll take your 2 together. You have 2, right?
No, I have 4, but we could do the first 2 and then we do.
You guys want one of these?
I got one.
Oh, you got one?
Yeah, technically.
Remind me of
Yeah,
that.
thank you.
Yeah.
This is pretty straightforward. We had reviewed this pretty clearly
Oh, that's
last
this.
meeting.
Yeah. Swedes.
And pretty much the big question left was, there was no separation there. So they have adjusted the trailers to meet that 24 feet. So we can adopt this. We had even looked at the conditions, so.
Have they moved them to another
They
area?
moved them to meet the 24 feet.
Or
The plan is to move.
to move them to someplace else?
No,
Or
just to
back?
adjust them and
Okay.
to meet that
Okay.
24. It was about 20 feet, so your eyes were good.
Right.
It wasn't quite 24, but they did move
Kate's
them.
eyes saw that.
Yeah, so the 2 will be shifted this way, and there was also a little retaining wall that will be removed, so that's all.
So it's clear now.
Makes
Okay,
sense.
good.
Yeah, but that was it. That was the
That was the only
other
issue,
thing.
yeah. Okay,
You want to adopt it?
yeah, we do. Moved by Dennis, second by Tom, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent, that was easy.
Short stay, Wayne.
You can leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That could be the quickest one ever.
Brenna, 45 Foster Avenue.
This was on the agenda at the last meeting on October 9th. We reviewed the draft pre-submission conference report. This was for the Gregor well drill.
Oh, Gregor well drill.
Yes.
Yeah, so we went through the report pretty thoroughly. There really were no additional revisions or changes. I have copies if you'd like to see them. We have it on again today because it's, we couldn't adopt it at the last meeting, so there were still a couple of days.
We just
inside of
reviewed it,
their,
yeah. Can we take a peek? You have it, if
inside
you
of
have it?
their, comment period. I don't know if I have enough, but I don't know if you need it.
It's okay.
We'll pass on Mark for now. We can share if we have to.
Just,
Another one.
just enough.
There is another one.
So again, there weren't any real revisions apart from a couple of discussion points making it into the final. The bigger items or issues were the discussion of the use as a special trade contractor rather than warehouse and storage. There is some relief required with zoning board setback and parking. And then the front transition yard, which it seemed the board would, I put it in here, the board has the ability to reduce this, especially given existing conditions. And that they wouldn't be required to do a phase 1A and 1B because the site's been historically disturbed since well before zoning. And everything else in there is consistent. I don't know if there's anything else
Engineer
you want-
looked at this property?
I'm sorry?
Did the engineer look at anything for here for drainage?
Not yet. Oh, I'm sorry. No, not during pre-submission yet.
Okay.
They'll look at it when it comes in for final.
Okay.
Go straight to town engineer.
There are issues here with drainage.
Yeah, I think they're already,
That front parcel to the north and west. Anthony, can you point that out?
across the street.
Across the street and then over. Over?
Toward the road.
The big building, yeah. They had to put in extra drainage. There's this swale that comes right down
All feeds into there.
that road, and it all pools, so that's why I asked if the engineer
No,
had.
not yet, not for pre-submission,
Okay.
but we'll have a look at it as soon as it comes in for final.
Okay. We went over everything, right?
We did, yeah, and if
Okay.
there's anything you want to look at, I'm happy to.
I see drainage to be reviewed later, great. Anybody, okay, everybody okay with this? Motion to approve? By Kate, second by David, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you.
Jackie, just before I go to 7-Eleven project, can we just go to 14 real quick so I could get Dave out of here? It's,
Yes, Charlie Fox.
Charlie Fox.
Yeah. So it's, you're deeming it complete and scheduling a public hearing, Anthony?
For November 13th.
November 13?
Yep, we had previously deemed this application incomplete. This is on County Route 39, just to the east of McGee Street. It's for a cannabis retail operation. We previously deemed it incomplete. We have a revised plan that came in, some additional information, so now we're ready to just deem it complete and schedule the hearing for November
13, right. Motion. Motion by Kate, second by Gloria, and all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Brevity.
Didn't even have to come up.
You go up there, Jeff.
Hidden Cove Marina?
9/11 Flanders?
7-Eleven.
For 7-Eleven.
7-Eleven.
Oh, we're back, sorry.
Back, yeah.
You remember that application?
And we do have members of the project team on
On Zoom?
Thank you.
Okay, may I have your name for the record?
Jefferson Murphy, Sag Harbor, New York, for the applicant.
How many trees did you kill?
I know, this one.
You want a copy? Anthony, did you want a copy?
I have one.
Okay.
Thanks. Yes, I do, as a matter of fact.
So everyone's familiar with this project, so,
Yes.
at the traffic circle, so we've been looking at this.
Better and better and better.
Yeah, we've been looking at this a long time, and obviously we had a meeting with them recently. Big things, when we previously, we went from a positive declaration, conditional neg deck, and we're still gonna do a conditional neg deck here, and I'm gonna go through what we need to go through. We had designed and put together an actual sketch, and attached it to the conditional neg deck and said this is what it should look like. That was based on the property as just the property as we see them now. It didn't include the village business property that was never on the table. So the fact is that they relocated that building all the way to that parcel, which shifts it as far away from the traffic circle as possible. That's, good. They've also increased the landscape area, the impervious surface, addressed some of the little bit of traffic issues that we had to address for the traffic consultant. So I think we're at a point that we can still do a conditional neg deck. I'm gonna go through what I need to go through, and most of the additional conditions, some of them are the same that we had last time, and then most of them are from the Pine Barrens review. I had forwarded to the board the Pine Barrens that reviewed this project, and it was nice. They gave us a nice review with some information that we can incorporate into this project.
Great.
So,
Great.
So actually, if you go to page 2, we don't need to go through the description of the project being built there. Just so you know, on the page 2, what was removed? The convenience store as an accessory. They also, when they applied to the ZBA, said if it was an accessory, they also requested variances for a use variance and a maximum number of uses. Those have all been eliminated by relocating.
Why is the convenience store being eliminated? It's not eliminated.
Not eliminated, the variances for it are being eliminated.
Okay.
Because it's in a different zoning district now.
It's in
It's in the
VB,
village
it's
business
moved over
zoning
to the
district.
next
That is
law.
conform properties VB, this where it was before is highway business, I should have said that. It's conforming. So it's conforming. The gas station, there were dimensional relief, 30.6 feet, they are now shifted the canopy to meet that setback. And the lot area, they've combined lots, so we don't have a lot area issue. So it eliminated those variances. The variances they're applying for now are mostly sign-related. A lot to do with, as you know, color. One of them was for size, for example, because the corner not monument sign, the
Welcome to Riverside.
freestanding sign, which has the gas prices, also had a welcome to Riverside element, which made the sign too big. The ZBA wasn't happy with that, so we're gonna do the welcome to Riverhead sign as a separate.
Riverside.
Riverside. I said Riverhead?
Yeah.
Oh, we gotta go, Jeff. So we'll do that as a separate, so it eliminated that, and we have a few others, so I'll go through some of the
You'll go
others.
through the
Yeah,
variances?
yeah.
Okay.
What we're
The
going to try to
remaining?
eliminate, yeah.
Okay.
So if you go to page 3, actually, the impacts on land. So yeah, we said that there would be significant impacts on land as a result of this, but we also have to acknowledge that the site is also very blighted. And that this is gonna be a vast improvement to what's there, including the cleanup that happened from the old gas station. So there would be significant impacts on land. And if you look at the bottom of page 3, it says the planning board finds potentially moderate to large impacts and will ask for the following mitigation. And you'll find that these are consistent throughout the other issues because they largely revolve around the same thing. So, for example, submission of an approval of a revegetation plan to demonstrate compliance with the CLUP standard for a maximum of 65% clearing. So that's going to be a condition of the neg deck. And frankly, they've already started working on this stuff and have already addressed it in the design. But
Is it re-veg or veg?
Well, that's
Nothing.
true. That's
It
true.
does not read.
There's nothing there.
There's nothing there.
One tree.
Well, the Pine Barrens did pick up on certain vegetation that they did ask her to be protected, so. Again, protection of existing vegetation to be included in the landscaping plan to be reviewed and approved by the planning board at the time of formal submission, formal site plan, including noted large trees on the property. Increase the setback of the fuel storage tank. I wrote here, it says to an additional 10 feet. Right now, it sits 18 feet from the road. It's probably in close to where the old one was. The Pine Barrens asked it to be shifted as much as possible, just so
Away
it could
from
be
the
as far
river.
away from the river. We should note that, obviously, this property is separated by a traffic circle, road, other businesses, and everything else, but the applicant did agree to shift it.
10 feet?
Yeah, so we're gonna put in there, though, rather than say an additional 10 feet,
It'll be set back 28 feet.
it'll be set back to a point of 28 feet from.
And that's where the 10 feet was. It's currently 18, and we are able to shift it back an additional 10 feet for a
Or a
total of 28.
28.
Yeah, we're gonna put that number
We
in
just
there,
want to be
make it clear
28
about it.
feet, yeah. Great, great.
Decrease the amount of impervious surface, I wanna say to the maximum extent.
We don't want to give them a percentage?
No, because they're under their coverage, to be quite honest, so something. I don't really have a number in mind. I think it has to be a product of, the
Further
design.
site plan review.
So something, but, they're under their coverage and they've lowered it, so, and they've increased also the amount of landscape area, so I think, we're getting there. And landscaping plan to limit plantings to 15% fertilized vegetation, that's what was asked for, so we're incorporating that. Again, the impacts on groundwater.
Excuse me, do you put the Pine Barrens recommendations here, or you kept them separate?
Those are the Pine Barrens recommendations. I've incorporated, since you're the lead agency, and you're the one making the decision, I just simply took their recommendations.
And add them.
And added them in here. I could certainly add, Jackie.
I think you need some reference to them, yeah.
Okay, I will,
Include a reference to it.
yeah, I'll put a references. in
Protection
accordance
of
with-
existing vegetation as recommended by,
As recommended by the Pine Barrens
By the
Commission.
Pine
I
Barrens
will add it to all of them, as a matter
Yeah.
of fact. And then you go to page 4, again, we identified groundwater issues and all the reasons why we stated in there. If you go to top of page 5, again, some of the additional mitigation. Compliance with the recommendations per the environmental site assessment prepared by Vertex dated February 3rd, 2021. We looked at that, actually. We'll just add it as an addendum. They did the cleanup there. The DEC signed off on the cleanup. But there's always residual. You have an old building, maybe an oil drum sitting in there. So they simply identify some, additional work that would need to be done at the time of
the
construction.
old gas tanks were taken out.
They were taken out.
They're gone.
They're gone. And it was remediated. The DEC
Yeah.
signed off on it. Which, by the way, now that I'm saying it, I should put that in here
that
about the
in here?
DEC stuff. That's very important.
Here, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm gonna put it in, yeah, I'll put it in,
Add-
yeah.
Groundwater.
It's
Add
also listed in the
DEC
EAF Part
sign
1.
off.
I'll add it probably to a
Add
few of
DEC
these.
sign off, okay.
Again, impact on critical environmental areas, again, we noted it's near the river, it's in the aquifer, it's central pine barrens, compatible growth. So if you look at the top of page 6, again, you'll find the same conditions, compliance with the environmental site assessment, a revegetation plan, protection of the existing natural vegetation, increasing the fuel storage tank to 28 feet, decreasing the amount of impervious surface and landscaping limited to 15%. Because remember, these are on top of what's already been done. You remember, so this is the combination of mitigation that we're acknowledging they've made changes already. Transportation, I sort of, if you go to the page 7, because we went through this in detail, we hired. They've relocated the building, so that took a lot of the pressure, off of concern. But we still have some more in here. We note, consult Department of DPW, they have the jurisdiction over the traffic circle, but if there's any additional pedestrian-friendly things we could do, we mentioned, for example, rectangular rapid flashing beacons, this is all at the discretion of the DPW, but we put it in there.
There's a crosswalk somewhere.
There is, right there, but
Can it be moved to go closer to the,
whatever DPW will allow us to do, we'll do it.
Right.
But it's
it's their call?
their call.
That's why I put as a condition to consult with the DPW for any additional work that could
Because
potentially
it would
be.
be great
Yeah, it
to
would.
have a cross thing.
I really think that, the traffic situation, we're leaving this all up to DPW. We don't know what they're gonna agree to or not agree to in the future, and that does concern me.
But they did
Should we
sign
give
off
them some
on,
guidance, Tom? Is that what you're saying? Or make recommendations to them?
but Tom, the DPW did sign off on the plan. We want them to do more in terms of pedestrian safety, in terms of crossing Flanders Road. Flanders Road over the last few weeks has not been,
A lot of accidents there.
yeah, a lot of accidents,
Huge.
unfortunately, regarding pedestrians. And if they allow us to do the flashing pedestrian crossing light, we'll certainly do it, but we can't tell the county what to do.
The DPW also, I coordinated all this with the DPW twice, as a matter of fact, didn't get any comments from them. Should be understood that this will go before the DPW when we do our formal application. Right now, we're doing this all based on the ZBA application, so DPW doesn't get, referred, other than the secret document.
And maybe this is a good time, or when we get to the end, if we approve this, where does this go from here?
Back to the zoning board where they gotta finish up. They've held up the zoning board.
Going back to zoning board, still going back to DPW.
Well, then they gotta come to us with the formal
Site
application.
plan.
We don't have a formal application yet. so we
Site
still
plan
have work to
application,
do.
we have not submitted that yet.
It's a secret.
So we're not done with looking at this, Tom. We've
Just want to make sure I fully understand, and other people, because we all know this has been, a lot of people have expressed a lot of concern about
I'm
this.
gonna get to that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was at that meeting. Okay, so, and trash pickup during off-peak hours, early morning hours would be best. Impacts on human health.
What about oil delivery?
Fuel.
I mean, world.
I just don't purport to know how the industry works. I don't know that we could limit oil truck
We
deliveries to a
talked
gas
about,
station.
we talked about the oil delivery trucks coming in the other road, not coming in Flanders. We had a discussion about that when we were discussing all of this any number of times, that would be the better street to come in.
We just don't want the trucks being diverted, going through a residential neighborhood in order to accommodate
Well,
going.
it
in
only
different
comes
roads.
down one tiny little piece, that's all. Do you know what I'm talking about? Okay.
I mean, the reality is you can't control how they come in.
No.
Yeah.
No matter what we say.
Especially at 4 AM.
The guy in the truck is going,
Make a
decision.
decision, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
yeah,
Oh, it is
exactly.
pumps.
We had talked about that, because we talked about circulation within the
I mean,
parking, around the pumps
there
itself.
was a lot of conversation about that. That may have been the earlier floor plan, but I'm remembering,
Blow it up, Anthony, a little bit. Yeah, so it would be coming in that,
if they came up from from Hampton Bays and making a left into the site, or they would come up from, I can't see the street name.
they'd come around the
You
circle.
could come around the circle from any other direction. We can't control that. We cannot tell the oil delivery company, you have to follow this. route."
Wherever their last delivery was, that's where they're coming
Yeah.
from.
That's correct.
Yeah. Well, we could also say it's a preference. You know how some people have service delivery signs?
Yeah, 100%. The other side of it is, we're imposing some conditions here, some good ones. The planning board's also still gonna review this, and we could still impose as conditions of site plan approval, by the
Yeah.
way. We're not losing anything. So if there's gonna be, lightings.
It's going to go
Yes.
to the ZBA if this gets approved today. They're going to make their final
Decision on the
variance
variances.
decisions, and then it will come back to the planning board for further review. Is that what?
Review, correct.
Right.
that's
With
just-
fully,
Engineer plans.
engineer plans and all the rest of it.
So they had something like 18 variances to begin with, as I remember?
Yeah, there was a lot of them. I don't know how many there are now, because during the discussions, they eliminated some other ones, but,
But we limited more than half.
Okay,
That's
so
significant.
it would be important, I think, to understand what's left. What are the variances, what variances are you there for?
Jeff could go through that. It's,
You said signage? You said,
Most of it is signage, and I'm trying to find the chart.
parking, because parking on this, the building is right up to the road there. So what happens is any parking that's within the required front yard setback, it needs variances, but it's an existing condition. It's a product of the building being situated so close to the road that any parking up here requires a variance for a setback.
Is there
So-
enough space up there to park?
Yeah, we saw the
Okay.
I have the, do you have the chart in? Yeah, I have it in front of me, so I
Okay,
can.
so parking,
The distance from Peconic River is supposed to be 500 feet, we're at 320, we can't change that. Parking in the front yard, there are,
front yard of the 7-Eleven store.
no, in front of the gasoline station, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 parking stalls, I believe it is, along Flanders Road. And I'm gonna address that in a moment, Jackie, because we're gonna get to a section, and I'm gonna present all of this as a summary.
Okay.
But going on, and the reason why I'm hesitating, I'm going through variances removed, variances removed, variance removed, variance removed. Number of parking spaces required. We were proposing 36 parking spaces, where 55 are required.
That was originally, though.
Okay.
So you need a variance
And so the
on that?
magnitude has been reduced. So the current calculation is for 36 required and 31 provided, so we're seeking for a variance for 4 spaces.
Okay,
Or-
so parking.
Not that this is an ideal situation, but it's the reality of a gas station with a convenience store. That doesn't account for the cars that are gonna sit there, gas up, and then go into this, you know what I mean?
Correct.
It's not a great situation, but that happens at the gas
Is it a
station.
variance or is that a waiver?
Which one?
The parking.
I think it was a variance, to be quite
variance.
honest. I don't know, Dennis, that's a good question. I'll look at that.
It's been, it's always come across the table as a waiver.
Well, particularly if we have cross-access between, are we gonna have cross-access between the 7-Eleven?
Well,
and-
there is, because, you know, they're gonna operate together.
Yeah. So question mark that. What else?
So the impacts on human health, you know, again, we
Excuse me,
indicated-
Anthony, I'm sorry, I want to go back, because I think I missed this on the transportation. The first bullet point says traffic counts were found to be acceptable, with an acceptable growth rate of 2.75% per year. I would disagree that 2.75% traffic growth a year is acceptable.
Again, we have to rely on what the DOT and DPW tell us, and if they, and our traffic engineer and AKR, if all four of them say, this is what it is, Tom, I don't know, how do we argue against 4 different agencies or, individuals?
Go look at Flanders Road, go look at County Road 39.
I get
That's
it.
my argument against.
No,
And those were 1.9, 1.5 to 2% annual growth. 2.75 is.
I understand, Tom, but again, we can only do so much, and if the agencies that are responsible tell us that's what the number is, can't tell them otherwise.
I don't find it acceptable.
I understand.
This also came out of our traffic consultant that reviewed this and made, you know, the statements that were put in final documents and everything, so this doesn't come from my analysis. This
Now,
comes from the traffic consultant.
The word acceptable, they may have used. I'm
I
just saying,
understand.
I would not use the word acceptable.
No, and I don't know that, you know, anybody would disagree with the fact that the traffic situation over there is just bad in general. You know, I mean, it just-
Rather than say acceptable time, I would say acknowledged by the following agencies. And
Yes, I would say that.
I think it depends upon what you
Something.
think is acceptable.
No,
Is bumper-to-bumper traffic and accidents acceptable, so then it's
So you
fine.
just say acknowledged by the New York State Department of Transportation, Suffolk County
You
DPW,
have that?
as affirmed by the applicant's engineer and town's consultant.
Right.
Okay.
So we're changing that wording, Anthony.
We're gonna add that in there.
We'll add that in there. And take away the word acceptable, but add the language from all the parties I just mentioned.
Then at the top of page 8, relating to, you know, impacts on human health, again, the additional conditions in here that we've already discussed, the project changes and incorporation from the time barons. Consistency with the community plans, actually, that whole discussion there comes out because that was all pertaining to the original variances, of which they don't need anymore.
Where are you, Anthony?
Oh, I'm sorry, page 8. Consistency
Page
with
8, it
community
says
plans.
consistency with community plan and impact on community character.
Uh-huh.
We're going to strike,
Yeah, that gets, because it says, you know, the lot area shall not be less than 40,000, the plot area sufficient access facilities.
So that all goes away,
That all goes away, but,
but I think we have to mention the study, the Flanders Road study, no?
which,
That the 7-Eleven building on another lot works better with the Flanders
It complies with the intent and of the
Of the
Riverside
hamlets.
Overlay District. I'd like to just touch on that somewhat, because the applicant has gone really above and beyond in trying to address the concerns by yourself, the community, the outside agencies, the Pine Barrens Commission, and since the last plan you saw, to say we've mitigated it, we've even mitigated it since you've last seen it. Or we pushed the gasoline tanks farther away from Flanders Road to 28 feet as opposed to 18 feet. We were at 69% maximum impervious coverage. We're now down to 63% to comply with the standard of the Pine Barrens Commission. We reduced the number of variances by more than half. What's interesting about 39 Flanders Road, that's interesting because that's a bit of history. And I want, it's an important part to be included in the record. That property where the existing building exists, that was actually approved by this planning board on September 18th, 2008. Larry Toller signed the site plan,
2008.
2008. And it was
Original.
for a 3,396 square foot commercial building. Our building is only 3,010 feet. So we're taking what the planning board previously approved and made it smaller. We're pulling it back away from the road to add more landscaping. And all the parking that you see today that was approved by the planning board is going to be ripped out, and that's where the IA system's going to go. So you're going to have one, you're going to have the building footprint, and that's it. No parking. The rest is going to be revegetation, subject to your review and approval. So we really not only included this building, got rid of the accessory use issue. It's a permitted use in the VB district, and the impervious coverage has been substantially reduced above what's allowed by the commission and the town. So I think that shows the process
We got some good
works.
results.
And so I think
It
that's a
took
big
us a
plus.
long
Jeff,
time.
has anybody met with the community since the last time you guys were here?
We have been invited, and we're on the agenda for November.
Okay,
Good.
okay, good.
So on page 9 there,
So I do think, Anthony, just some reference to awareness of the Flanders redevelopment plan for community character.
And we brought it more into compliance with the purpose and intent.
Yeah.
sure, Jackie. On page 9 there, even though we struck out the other stuff, I do note that the plan board, the project may have potentially large impacts. There's still zoning relief and, concerns about lighting associated with a 24-hour convenience store and gas station. So I think that still remains, a legitimate concern.
And that'd be subject to site plan review and compliance with your dark sky ordinance, and we're committed to that.
So you're taking out this
Correct.
the
That
second
paragraph-
bullet, those three things?
Yes, but I'm gonna keep in the rest of, on page 9 there, the rest of it.
The summary of negative conditions.
Because you'll see, I also note on page 9 there, we're still gonna, we have some of the standard conditions, the clearing. I did add just a note, strict adherence to the town's lighting code to be dark sky compliant, subject to review and approval by the planning board, obviously, at the time of formal. No use of blue lights that are evident at other 7-Eleven store locations. We go there, we see them, they're sitting up on big poles.
Yeah.
We don't know what they are, but we've got complaints about them, so we'll make that a condition, is no lighting.
So we don't know what because, you see them now. We don't know what they do, or?
I'm sorry, the which?
There's
The blue
blue
lights.
flashing lights that are, I know the one down the road has them. One down Flanders Road has
Is it
them.
on the, inside the building, or is it?
No.
No, it's out in the parking lot.
I always,
You know what that is, Tom? It's a security, camera
security.
system.
security cam, that's what we were told, yeah, because that was a frequently robbed 7-Eleven, so they
If you
put
go out to
security
Walmart
cameras.
in Riverhead, you'll see one in the
At
parking
them.
lot there. It's a safety measure, unfortunately.
strange.
It looks odd, but it's needed, unfortunately.
We could think of better ways, I think.
Yeah, it's like a UFO up there.
So, and I also included there, another one here, reduce the amount of signage from what was originally submitted to the ZBA by, again, they've already agreed to this, eliminating the welcome to Riverside component, because we're going to do that separately, and we'll do that with long-range planning.
So you want to take 9 out?
No, we're gonna keep that. And then, to reduce the number of canopy signs to 2. Jeff, you guys put something on the record with the ZBA, but I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I forget if it was 2 or 3 that still exist, because we'd like to have one per street frontage, and we actually have one coming from the circle, and then one on Flanders Road, and then one from the other road as well. So it's up to the ZBA if,
No, it is, they're gonna be relying on the planning board, I mean, what's the planning board thought on it?
and we reduced the size of the signs on there. And the one
Two.
thing you don't see, if you remember the old 7-Eleven days with the racing stripes around the canopy, you're not gonna see that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not on there? Okay, that's good, because you do see that everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how this board feels, I mean, it is, you know, you have the road that goes all the way around this, so I'm gonna leave it to I don't have a
You addressed this in the
particular
West
party.
Hampton, I think, the West Hampton project. West Hampton 7-Eleven,
Do they have the racing stripes?
no.
Yeah, so we
Same
we
thing
try
with
to follow.
Hampton Bays.
What do you think, what about the
Are the
7-Eleven
canopies, are the canopies for purposes of the address?
Clear handle.
Are the canopies?
Yes,
For
the
purposes of
signage
the
is being
address?
addressed through the zoning board, and then you'll see them come back through the site plan review.
One of the colors out, I think.
Yeah,
The canopies
that's right.
over the
We
gas
reduced the number of colors. Unfortunately, one of the colors, I hate to say
They have
unfortunately,
7-Eleven signs on
if the
it.
canopy is white, that counts as a color.
That's true.
Okay.
Even though it's.
So you're
if it's-
allowed, what, 2 more? 3
I thought
max?
it was an absence of color, was white.
It's either 2 or 3 more, and that's the discussion we're having with the zoning board
You
now.
made that determination.
So what are we talking, we're talking about a 7-Eleven corporate logo, which is orange, green, and white, right?
On the gasoline canopy.
You're talking about on the,
It just says here, reduce enough, that there's a 7-Eleven sign on 3 sides of the canopy, facing each of the roadways, you know, you know. So I simply said go down to 2. They would like to keep 3 because the 3 signs face all of each of the, you know, roadways that, you know, surround this property.
I think it's awfully hard for us to make a decision without seeing something in front of us, but this is a visual issue.
Well, do we have, I mean,
Does anybody have something?
Keith is telling me it's green, orange, and red. I apologize.
Excuse me, we have Nick Buscemi raising the hand on Zoom.
Oh, we have people on
no,
the
there's people
Zoom.
on Zoom, yeah.
Yeah.
See if they can put up the elevation of the canopy.
One thing, if Nick Buscemi is on the Zoom, I don't know if he is, Anthony, he has the copy of the
Coming
latest
on now.
site plan. They can show the plan to the
Also-
board. If Nick is on the call, if you could just post it up on the screen.
Yeah, he's
He's
coming
there.
in there now.
Also, Anthony, your microphone.
Better?
Much better, thank you.
All right, everybody see and hear me?
Yes.
Just quickly for the record, Nicholas Buscemi from High Point Engineering, office located at 1860 Walwood Road, Melville, New York, Suite 600. I believe I should have the ability to share. I see we're talking about the colors of the canopy.
If you could show those, Nick, that would be helpful.
So I'm just going to pull this up. Is everybody able to see the screen that I'm sharing? So this is what the canopy elevations look like. So this is a white background. I know it looks gray, but otherwise you just wouldn't see it on the background of the paper. So this would be a white with the orange, red, and green.
So they consider the whites an additional color, so they're over the number
Right,
of
so
colors.
so you have it in the center.
It's on
Right.
each
It doesn't
side.
matter what color the background is considered to be a color.
Yeah, oh, I buy that.
So they have 3 of those, Jackie, on the canopy.
Correct.
So the front, 2 sides.
And the front, yeah.
They're, right,
you go.
one facing the circle and one on each of the roads.
So I'll highlight them for you if that makes it easier. So we got
Would those be in the end, then, not in the center, right?
Yeah,
No,
we're just
the-
highlighting now.
Yeah, at the end, right.
this might be easier to
They're
see.
relatively small, are they not?
They are.
Yeah, they don't need any relief or anything, so I was just asking, you know, do we want to be okay with the 3? And if so, then I could just
I
eliminate
think
that.
if they're small in the end,
That's it.
you know, these horsey signs, I think that works.
Again, we've
I don't
taken
know
all the.
how many people you expect to come in that other road. What's the name of that other road?
Riverly?
Really?
Riverly.
I think a lot of people.
A lot of people would
Yeah,
come.
you come up that
Yeah.
way from West
Right.
Hampton.
Well, then I think a sign there would be useful, practical.
That's perfectly
Yeah.
fine. So I'll remove that, Jeff, from this
Okay.
one here, but we'll keep the eliminating the welcome to Riverhead.
Yep.
We'll do
But
that.
that's going to
Riverside.
be, Anthony, that's going to be a nice sign right within the foliage.
Right in that
Do
green
you
area.
have an
that you
example
see.
of that?
Yeah.
Do they need a ZBA variance for that? No.
We don't know, actually, so, you know, we'll deal with it, but since it is gonna be a town-related thing. But they do need a variance for it now, as it's currently proposed.
Can he show it to us?
Yeah, can you zoom into the bottom right there? It's like the one in West Hampton, I think.
Correct.
We said.
Correct. So if we remove the Welcome to Riverside sign, that would bring us down to 32 square feet, which would make it code compliant.
Now, this is the welcome sign?
Well, yeah, that's why when they said they would do that, I said, let them reduce the sign, eliminate the
And
variance,
we took it away.
and we will.
Right, so this would go,
Make a
We
nice
will
sign.
work with them for a sign that says welcome.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
it's part
I
of a
mean, a full
larger,
sign.
it's part of a larger town-related sort
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
administration
The
of our.
community would like to see that.
So that's gonna go, and we are gonna get it, and we'll do it during site plan, by the way.
And what is that on the right side of the sign? What is that?
It's the price.
The prices.
this is the price signs.
That's,
And
that's,
those will mimic exactly what you approved for the one in Hampton Bays.
And West Hampton.
Yeah.
The one in Hampton Bays is on a nice stone
Yes. Nice.
pedestal.
Yeah.
Well,
You're not doing that, right?
Well, we're not Hampton Bays, so we wanted to reflect the character of Riverside, but guess what? We're coming back for site plan review.
Right, because those signs are very handsome.
they're getting it
Yeah.
for size or color, whatever it is, we could use those parameters and
Right,
and
so
get
Jeff
whatever.
should
they-
just be aware of it.
And you
Yep.
should maybe make it flexible then, monument or, because that's a full sign, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the monument signs are really
It's on
nice.
like
The
stone,
The
yeah,
stone
like a gray
base and then the
stone or
stone,
something.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
We had
we'll work with you on that.
actual photographs of it.
yeah.
Do you remember?
George had taken.
We had photographs of
yeah,
it.
George, from the one in West Hampton, he took
Again,
pictures.
that's something we can definitely work with you on for the site plan review, so.
We could get the sign designed, you know, like I said, the ZBA is really looking at, on that one, they're eliminating the size, actually. So I don't know that the ZBA is looking at anything on that one at this point, so
Okay.
we won't be bound.
They were, okay.
Yeah. They were
As long as
previously.
DBA doesn't issue a ultimatum, and we have to work with that.
Not at all. And then public controversy, environmental impact, let me read this into the record.
Okay.
The project has been the subject of significant public controversy as evident by the public comments received at public hearings and during the written comment period by both the planning and zoning boards. The opposition is displeased with the addition of another convenience store in the community, which they believe is perceived by many to create a negative public perception due to a combination of factors related to crime, community impact, quality of products, potential traffic impacts. The planning board acknowledges the community concern and finds significant project changes have been made that, along with the conditions of the negative declaration discussed herein, effectively mitigate any potential significant environmental impacts. You know, look, here, I was at this meeting, I've been to all these meetings, the public is very clear. They don't want to see this project with a 7-Eleven, period, end of story. And that's the reality. At the zoning board meeting, for my part, and to do the planning board, I advised them that, in fact, we have not just rushed anything through, that we've been spending 4 or 5 years at this point, and that we're going to get the best project out of this. It may not be ideal, and you know, but it is going to be the best project we get, and we made significant changes. You know, so I would like to add to that, though, so we could address it. The planning board notes that additional concerns such as lighting, landscaping, buffering, all that
Traffic,
will
pedestrian
continue to be
safety.
addressed during the site plan review, because I don't want anybody reading this thinking that
That's the
the
end
public's
of it.
been dismissed
Right.
completely.
Yeah,
This
no.
is just a step along the journey.
Right.
So I should clarify.
Right, and that there will be further review
100%.
too, but I think you need to state that, because again, I don't think people fully understand.
it's a
And
done
further
deal.
public input.
And
The
quite
site plan level.
frankly, if the
Public hearing.
zoning is met, our hands are tied to addressing the things you're saying.
So, you know, I did advise the public, because a lot of them said at the thing, planning board, there's too many 7-Elevens, you don't need to approve another 7-Eleven. I did have to advise that if it's a permitted use, you can't say, you know, you could have, you know, Halsey's convenience store, but not 7-Eleven convenience store. We just can't do that. You know, that's
Anthony,
the reality.
we had a discussion at the agenda meeting, because I asked you this. I thought, what about a small supermarket there? To find out that the gas station and the 7-Eleven are one package. That 7-Eleven and a gas station go hand in hand, is that it? I mean, 7-Eleven is making the application? What's,
It is a 7-Eleven application.
it's a 7-Eleven
7-Eleven
application,
gas station.
okay.
Convenience.
Because how great it would have been, I don't know how many square feet on that building, how many square?
3,000 and
3,000
3,100,
square
something
feet.
like that.
We have a market in Hampton Bays that is robust and really services the community.
Oh,
I don't
Narellas,
know,
yeah.
the best avocados, what's the name of that one? Well, they have a parking issue.
Yeah, I worked on that site.
Yeah.
It was where Liggett's was.
It's where Liggett's was. I
Do
don't
they have a
know the
CMO?
square footage of that.
David's the C of O yet?
I don't think so.
There's some, yeah.
Is that, is
I'm
it?
aware of everything on
Is
that
it,
property.
Anthony, is it more than 3,000?
Yeah, that's a 7,500 square feet.
So it's double.
That's why they went in various stages as they increased to a special
Right.
exception.
So this is only 3, so you're really limited. But again, it's a 7-Eleven stamp, and I understand why the community would be opposed, but, and I never realized that it was a 7-Eleven application.
Does 7-Eleven accept SNAP benefits? Because then there would be some kind of stocking requirements for certain household staples versus just convenience or like junk food.
That's a corporate decision. I'm not involved with that.
Right.
If SNAP survives.
Use the tools you have.
And this is a good conversation. Maybe this is something that doesn't really directly fall within what we're authorized to do, I don't think. But I think this is a good conversation we should be having with
The community.
the community, and I know, Jeff,
Well, you're
you
having
don't work
another
for
session,
7-Eleven,
right?
but.
You're having another session with the community?
We're having our first session with the community next month.
And I will say, Anthony and I are tentatively scheduled, and it may not work with your schedule or their schedule, but we were gonna go talk to Franca about the role of the planning board in applications in general, and what we are, how we work, and how,
What we
we're
can-
empowered to do.
what we
and
can
we're-
do and what we
What we
can't.
can't do. And
Yeah.
it's similar to a presentation we gave last year in Hampton Bays, which was very well received, and I
Helpful.
think the Franca folks.
Education.
Because people see us as rubber stamping things that they don't want, and we don't have the ability or the authority to say no if it's in the zoning code.
Which is what the public said, but, you know, again, as I said to the public and to the zoning board, after 4.5, 5 years, the planning board rubber stamped nothing. Nothing was rubber stamped here.
Just so you know.
Thank you, Anthony.
I will have been involved in this.
You know, I mean, that's the reality, and so, this, again, it's not the ideal situation, nothing is ideal in the traffic, on the traffic circle there.
No,
I think
but
this
if
is a
you have a
huge-
pipeline to 7-Eleven, there's a 7-Eleven down the road. And when they first went in, they had fresh fruits. They had fruits on the
Right, and we-
outside. They had firewood. They had a bunch of things.
Yep.
That took it out of the 7-Eleven
And we propose the same thing.
antiseptic model.
Yep.
Yeah,
And
fresh
we're proposing
food.
the same thing.
Right.
Right, fresh fruit and vegetables, and, you know, I mean, that would be a
Food.
great thing to see, real
Real food.
real food.
But just think, for anybody who thinks that we're fast tracking this, I had forgotten this. When I had to revise the EAF Part 1, I forgot that I had written the original one. The reason why I forgot was it was 4 years ago. So there is no fast tracking of this application. So anybody thinks that the planning board is steamrolling this, or we're.
Yeah, rubber stamping.
Absolutely not. The planning board, you have to consider staff's recommendation, all the outside agency considerations, all of the internal agencies considerations, the public consideration. You have to
Coordination.
take in a huge amount of information on every single application to come up with a decision. So anybody who says that you're making a snapshot, I take exception to that. As a planner, you do a tremendous amount of work, and sometimes applicants like these things move a little bit quicker. It's a process.
Right.
So it would be
And
great
my
if-
belief, and I wouldn't be here if I didn't believe this, I think a better product comes out of it as a result of the process.
That's right. But there's no doubt that hopefully this Flanders study will suggest in a strong way that that area needs a supermarket.
We've been trying for that. I came in this room in May of 1998, and I've been trying to get a supermarket since then. And I talked to Tom Cullen, talked to ShopRite, talked to all the, and
Well, it's a thriving community, it's a growing community, and people
sort of like
need
I tried to get
food.
Trader Joe's at Flying Point Road.
Yeah, no,
But, yeah, hopefully the
that's our
revitalization
medical
plan
center.
will kickstart something.
Something.
Right.
The what?
The revitalization plan.
Yeah.
Which has been, you know, starting to move along again.
And just, I get frustrated because I did I don't know, I think it's the first revitalization plan back in 98, 99, 2000. and that just got shelved, and so hopefully this one doesn't get shelved. I understand this being looked at again, revised, whatever, so.
No, they've
hopefully
got the
we'll morph into
funding,
something
it's,
that's tangible.
It's moving forward, I can tell you that.
they got the funding for the
Good.
sewage treatment plant and everything.
Sewage treatment plant is
That will make
moving
a
forward,
huge
and that's the-
difference.
That's the.
And we have a whole plan surrounding that
Yeah.
about who gets what.
Yeah,
exactly.
Without that, nothing, everything else will sit on the shelf.
And the community has to remember, the town bought all those lots in that industrial subdivision, so. The
This
town's.
is, the board sees here, bottom of page 9 and on page 10, I actually put in red all the, re-summarized all the additional conditions, so.
It should have been red, orange, and green.
And that's correct. So again, I'll just read in compliance with the recommendations for the environmental assessment prepared by Vertex Company dated February 3rd, 2021. Submission and approval of a revegetation plan to demonstrate compliance with club standard 5.3.3.6.1 with a maximum clearance of 65%. Protection of existing vegetation to be included in the landscaping plan to be reviewed and approved by the planning board at the time of formal site plan, including noted large trees on site. Increase the setback of the fuel storage tank an additional 10 feet to 28 feet from Flanders Road to maximize the setbacks to the Peconic River. Decrease the amount of impervious surface to the maximum extent practicable. Landscaping plan to limit plantings to 15% fertilized vegetation. Strict adherence to the town's lighting code. I'm going to just say, dark sky.
Dark sky.
8, no use of the blue lights that are evident in other 7-Eleven convenience stores.
Can we eliminate that one, because if it's a safety issue, that we need a blue light, I hate to reduce the potential that we need a safety issue.
I don't, they're just not permitted by code.
No blue lights at all?
Not flashing blue lights,
Give you a
no.
violation unless you put a blue light on.
Wow.
Come in to discuss safety.
You can come and discuss safety, we can put lights on your building.
Yeah.
How do they get, how does the other one get away
more
with
lights
that?
in the parking
The other
lot?
one.
7-Eleven down the road on Flanders.
It's
What's
not
safer
safety.
Violations, they've been given violations.
More shadows, more opportunities for people to hide out?
Where they do have the blue lights, they have been given violations?
Yes.
Is that? Okay, good to know.
Notice that they're on wheels.
Change the code.
Wheel them away.
I mean, when you come in, if you need come in with something that's not a blue light. I'm sure there's a security thing that's not a
They're up on a big pole.
30 feet in the air,
Pit bull.
Number 9, reduce the amount of signage from what was originally submitted by eliminating the welcome to Riverside. The rest of that's coming out.
Great.
10 is about consulting the DPW for any additional pedestrian work that can be done in conjunction with their requirements. And who knows, they may come back with stuff upon a formal referral at the time of site plan where they tell us, here's what we're going to expect.
And then what's our response to that?
Usually we incorporate them into our site plan.
Mhm.
The site plans are usually designed, like the ones we just did for Ashley Caprera, where the DPW or the DOT said you gotta put the sidewalks in, so the site plans then get revised to reflect whatever work they're requiring. It's pretty typical. And trash pickup during off-peak hours.
Anything more on the traffic, Tom?
Well, I
mean,
think,
it seems so,
We spent, the great portion of this project was
traffic study.
traffic study. We went through the numbers, our consultant revised, they went through, they revised.
Yeah.
It wasn't an ideal situation. I think we got that discussion out of there. Absent, trying to get the convenience store located as far away from, the entrance and exit points. And, I don't really know what more we could do for this. It's on a traffic circle.
Well,
You know what I mean? I mean, it just,
we can just make a comment that the traffic safety on that road needs to be looked at by Suffolk County.
well,
Because,
yeah.
well, whatever language,
That's, and that's the issue, and I'm still, concerned about the traffic. We don't have the control over, what goes on that road outside of our jurisdiction. Jeff's right, and Anthony's right, DPW and the state DOT control both the roads adjoining it and the roundabout, the traffic circle that's there. You know, the fact that we get another crack at this is, you know, probably the only reason I would vote to allow it to go forward today. Because I don't know what can be done
Right.
to address those concerns, but I've been up there a lot recently. The congestion is really bad. And I understand, you know, traffic engineers, they, you know, things can be mitigated, things are acceptable or not acceptable. You know, but when you have to deal with them and you have to live there, you know, it's a very serious issue.
Right, I mean, and, you know, and the feed in that traffic circle is very dangerous. It's poorly marked. You get in it and you think, oh my God, because there's so many exit points.
Right, there was originally supposed to be a four-legged roundabout that was not acceptable, so it's a five-legged
It's five,
roundabout, which
right.
inherently makes it more
Makes it more dangerous.
difficult. People, we were talking about Riverly Avenue, you know, the people on Riverly Avenue are very upset about the truck traffic on Riverly Avenue. They want to talk to the town board about, you know, truck restrictions on Riverly. You know, there's a lot going on there.
Yes, from a traffic standpoint, for sure.
I mean, the way I deal with it is I do not ever use that traffic circle. I've come up with other ways to get where I need to go in Riverhead.
Right.
Tom, just a question, because really, a part of what you're talking about is the increased traffic and kind of how cars are moving around, but then also people, right? So is there a way to incorporate a pedestrian movement study? Maybe there's some sort of urban engineer, because when you put the 7-Eleven there, it creates a better situation, but then it also creates a situation where people may want to cross over the street, and maybe there is some other crosswalk opportunity, you know?
But that's what we talked about.
Yes,
I mean, I'm
that's
glad you
exactly what we're
reminded us.
talking about.
Crosswalk.
The
We talked about a
pedestrians,
crosswalk to the 7-Eleven.
To the 7-Eleven
on the other
directly.
side.
I see.
Crosswalk
How do
was
you
put-
do that with a
I thought
flashing
you were
light?
talking about
You have to
right around
stop
the circle.
traffic.
Yeah.
right
That's
up
the
at the
thing.
circle, and, you know, a few years ago, the DOT put a crosswalk down by Vale Avenue, a little bit
Right.
down the road here to try to, you know, help pedestrians there. It's not a I mean, it's a painted crosswalk, but there's nothing, it's not an enhanced
Yeah, I
crosswalk
mean-
in terms of,
And the speed limit's
Flashing,
45 there,
right.
as opposed to here. So at
Hey,
least
Gil-
we have, hate to say it, congestion actually helps pedestrians here because it forces you to slow down. Whereas you get, by where you're talking about, Tom, it starts to open up
right,
and people don't want to stop.
right. And there's no, you know, rapid flashing beacons or anything like you
That's what
see.
we need to
in-
hear, just like we have in Bridgehampton.
Right, right. And I think these are issues, you know, I think I said, you know, it's under DPW and DOT's control. I'd like to see the applicant, you know, perhaps be more proactive and say, we will pay to install.
And I think you're hearing that
Pedestrian.
commitment from us. It's just a question, we don't know what DPW wants or will allow us
So
to
you're
do.
just saying, Tom, to make sure that it's flagged in this red text area, so that when we're coming back to where we left off, which is this report, that we make sure we address it.
So I'll put the statement in there that the planning board remains concerned about the potential traffic, circulation impacts. associated with
Vehicular and pedestrian.
Vehicular
Yeah,
and
so I think just adding
pedestrian.
one more point there would be
And
good.
the applicant has advised that a referral to DPW will be made and additional site plan changes may be required to address these concerns. I mean, I could put something like that.
Somehow,
I think that's
we,
good.
or the applicant needs to press the county and the
Well,
state on
it
these.
does say in
you know,
there that they should have to consult with the DPW on this.
Right.
That's in there, that recommendation's in there.
Are we looking for a crosswalk at the location of the new 7-Eleven store?
Yes,
Further
or
outside
by
the circle, right?
McDonald's.
That's
Further on
wherever
Flanders.
DPW will allow it.
Because when we drive past there regularly and people just cross the middle of the road all the time.
There is a lot of pedestrian traffic up
And the
there.
opposite side of the road is the McDonald's, a little further down, right, which adds to another reason for people going
It
back.
has to be coordinated, not just with our site, it has to be incorporated in terms of what
Yeah.
else is happening up and down the road.
So what Anthony proposed, I think, is a good solution, so that we make sure that we follow up and come back to it. And then, really, we're just moving this to the ZBA to reconsider, and we'll see the full site plan, and we'll have our reference notes. So I like
Right.
your point.
And we should also, and maybe this has been done already, but, you know, we're talking about the Riverhead Revitalization Action Plan. I was a little bit involved with that, you know, when I was here full-time, just a little bit. But I think it's going back to look and see if that plan talks anything about pedestrian
crossings. I remember I was involved in the bus shelters, where we were gonna site bus shelters and things like that. But it might be incumbent upon us and, the people that are working on that plan, for the town to look at, this kind of an idea to see if it's in there, and if it's not, it should be, to help, again, let's help build the pressure to make sure something gets done, for pedestrian safety.
Yep, and we'll definitely look at that with site plan.
Okay.
So I'm going to add that. I just told them, Jack, and I'm going to add the statement in there that the planning board remains concerned about traffic impact to circulation, vehicular and pedestrian, and the applicant is advised that at the time of formal application, because we're already saying here they should go to the DPW and work with them, that we're going to do a referral, and that additional site plan, design changes may be necessary.
Great, that's what we want.
Right.
Yeah, we want another crack at this. I mean, they're not paying attention to that road.
It's a larger issue, I think, in the area, but.
Both the roundabout and the roads, yeah.
I'll add that.
Okay.
They have those conditions as a conditional neg deck.
All right, so you'll get us a revised of this, but we're going to vote on this now.
Yeah, you'll vote, and I'll
Yeah.
give it to you tomorrow.
Okay. Any other questions? This was a good discussion. Jeff, you okay?
I'll move it.
Everybody? Motion to accept by Dennis, second by Tom?
I'm not eager to second it, to
Well,
be
then-
honest with you.
Okay, then don't,
I'll
you can
second it.
vote.
So to be clear, I would second it because we're approving a well-produced report to the ZBA with the context that we have a good pathway forward to address issues in site plan, and the conversation resulted that we will have a place to come back to that address
This
all
will
those
continue.
issues.
Yeah. So you're seconding it,
Yes.
Kate? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent.
And just so the board knows, number 24 on the agenda, which was also 9/11 Flanders, that was
Can
for.
I change my vote to abstain from this? I'm not
Good
comfortable
abstain.
with it.
Okay, 1 abstention.
So it's
5 in favor, 1 abstention, 1 absent.
So number 24, which was going to be ZBA referral comments, because they submitted obviously a revised plan. I'm going to go on a limb here and say that our report here is good enough for the ZBA.
Right.
I don't need anything separate beyond our conditional like that.
Okay, and just attach somewhere the remaining ZBA.
I'm going to add it to this.
Can you?
Yeah, 100%. You
I
said
mean,
you
if
wanted.
it- yeah. So that's number 14, Anthony? What
That was 24, that's just off the agenda.
24.
4:30.
Okay, I need to get Brenna here because I want to do her stuff because she has to,
right
she has to
there.
leave.
I see her.
So number 11, Brenna, you want to do that?
Did we do 10?
Townsend Noyak?
We're gonna go back. We're gonna get.
Oh, you're taking
I'm
that.
taking Brenna, I'm taking this out of order.
Brennan's got to leave.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks, Jeff.
Stay well.
See you soon.
Anthony, if you would adjust the mic to where you're leaning into more.
What did you say, Pete?
Just the mic.
Oh.
Thank you.
This is number 11, Townsend of Noyak Road, yeah.
This is on, this is
4490?
This is the final subdivision application, it's a minor 2-lot subdivision application. 4490 Noyak Road. It's a little over an acre property in R15 zoning, and they're proposing, there's existing residents there, they're proposing to maintain that and create a second lot with a flag strip on the west side of the property line. There was a pre-application adopted in February of this year. There wasn't any public interest or any comments made. The recommendations were standard, and the board and the conservation board both, given the clearing or the pre-clearing that occurred at the back, had recommended some street trees, which are on the map, and they also did a phase 1A, 1B study
What did they do to the to the vegetation?
Yeah, I don't know how.
Looks like I had a
ever
fire.
really sort of- is that the most recent, the 25? Because it doesn't appear
Wow.
like it ever really came back.
No. No.
It's worse before.
No, I was just curious if,
Okay.
maybe that was an older one. And they did a Phase 1A, 1B, which came back with no findings and no further study. This is a type 2 action pursuant to seeker, so there's no further environmental review. I reviewed the application in full. I have a review form, so I don't think I handed it out, did I?
No. We don't have anything yet.
I have a review form in there. Everything looks to be complete.
Thank you.
And then if the board would like, we could set a hearing in, for the December 11th, or you could waive it if you choose to. Yeah, everything's here, but-
So when would you want a public hearing?
We have it penciled for December 11th.
December 11. That's our last and only session in December.
You could waive this public hearing. Was there any public interest?
There wasn't, no.
Was there a hearing before?
There was a hearing, I believe it was in January of this year.
Oh, well,
And
why
there
don't
were
we waive it with a 30-day written
30-day
comment
written,
period?
okay.
Yeah.
So the resolution is to deem it complete?
To deem it complete and, yeah.
Okay, and then set a 30-day written comment period.
Yeah, waive the public hearing and,
I'll move it.
okay, motion by Dennis, second by Kate, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, thank you. Brenna, you then have number 17, Knoll Crest Woods, which is a re-veg plan.
Yeah, it's 11 Collins.
11 Collingswood Drive.
So this was first presented to the board for a request for a covenant amendment. There's two resolutions here.
Thank you.
It's an 18,000 square foot lot in the Knoll Crestwood subdivision. This is in the APOD, and it would typically fall under 60% clearing, but the Knoll Crestwoods had 35% clearing in their covenants. The lot is 100% cleared, with the exception of some mature trees, or they have a good canopy, but the understory was almost completely cleared. So the board wanted to see a revegetation plan, which we have. And we also had a hearing on this back in August, and there was no public comments made, and nothing was written in either.
So the re-veg is going to bring it to the current APOD standards?
It would bring it, yeah, so we looked at it, I worked directly with the owner, we looked at, there was really no way they could get back to 35%,
No.
even if they planted every square inch left over. So they have a plan for reflecting 60% clearing. So they'd have to plant back about 7,200 square feet, which is pretty significant. It's mostly, it's almost exclusively understory. And they'd be connecting the rear yard, which already has some natural vegetation, and coming around the bottom of the parcel around to the front, and then also doing an understory alongside the driveway adjacent to the natural vegetation to the north.
Did we amend the covenant yet, or is that a separate act?
No, it'd be two separate actions, so you'd have to
Okay.
amend the covenant to allow them to do
Are we doing that
60%
today,
clearing.
or-
Yeah, I have both
Yes,
of them here.
she has two.
I have two, one to be able to amend the covenant.
So the logic behind the amending the covenant is that,
Brings the
It
lot.
brings it to the current APOD
Up to
standard.
APOD
to
standards.
60%.
60%.
Instead of 35%.
Okay.
Yeah, and our discussion on this, just to, recall, right, Jackie, was that these subdivisions were made before the APOD standards, and so we did the public hearing because we wanted to give the community their right to weigh in and
Yeah,
say,
to
no, we
weigh
want to
in.
keep
Yeah.
it that way, or,
They all bought
okay,
in,
let's
it's-
go bring it to APOD. So I feel comfortable.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I mean, clearly there's way more house that was built on that property for that small size.
Yeah, and that was the original home. I think the garage came after. But even, we looked at it, I looked at it quickly, even with just the house before the garage,
They were-
35%
No.
is not a lot.
Yeah, the desire of the homeowner and the size of the lot
Yeah.
and the covenant
So- Yeah.
did not
Broad
mesh.
brush, thing put on the entire tract.
Yeah, yeah, because I think it would have been, it was almost 30% at the time when it was just the house
Yeah.
originally.
Okay, so let's amend the covenant. We need a supermajority vote, so somebody makes a motion. Motion by Gloria, and second by Dennis, all in favor.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, we have it. 6 in favor, 1 absent. We've done that, and now we're going to approve the re-veg plan, is that it? Or set, no, re-veg
Yeah,
plan.
The reveg plan, yeah, with their,
And you're happy with that?
yeah, I looked at it pretty closely. Seth took a look at it as well, so I got some feedback from Seth, so it's had a very good once-over. It's a good mix of shrubs and grasses for the understory throughout. And with the typical conditions inclusive of as-built surveys and a final inspection, and no C of O. I don't know if you recall, but they're doing this in order to get an accessory dwelling unit. So there would be no release of CO until the final inspection is done on the re-veg.
On the plantings, okay, and you'll fill in these blanks that you have.
The blanks?
Resolution
Pursuant
number.
to the board resolution, blah, 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 blah,
Oh,
blah.
yes. Now that it's, if you're adopting it,
Yes.
I'll reference the
Okay.
covenant amendment.
Any questions on this?
I'll move
Okay,
it.
motion by Kate, second by David, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor and 1 absent. And then Prena, you have
22.
Oh, is that
the Jagger, 149 Jagger Path, Passanelli. Passanelli.
Oh. It's down by the
Remember
flower farm.
Passanelli?
Sunflowers.
By the flowers.
Poisonelli?
Yeah.
Passanelli, but
That's where the
sunflowers.
flowers-
Sunflower
Sunflowers.
farm. Or whatever
This
you
is
call it.
that, so there's a request to amend the conditional approval of their re-veg plan. As Tom remembered, this was a site plan that got approved in '22 for the flower farm, or to establish the flower farm. It's 3 lots total, but it's small relative to the bulk of the property there. There are a couple conditions in that approval that called for a 25-foot buffer along the north property line and a 100-foot buffer along the east, as well as a max allowed clearing of 9.6 acres.
We had a lot of discussion on that.
Yeah.
A lot.
And that was covenanted. They came before us because when they were preparing the land for farming, they had cleared into both buffers. So we had the re-veg plan before you that got approved in May. It was May 8th. One of the conditions on that approval was that they plant the buffers within 6 months, do a survey to check it against what the max clearing, if they're over the 9.6 acres, because at the time there was a question if they were like right at around 10 acres. And they have not started planting yet. Peter, I don't know if Paulsonelli is online, but he said he would attend.
I don't
So
see
they're
it, Tom.
requesting additional time, or really amending the condition. They want to be able to plant in the spring. I was there on Tuesday. I didn't see any evidence of any planting, although off the record, Tom mentioned that they may have transplanted some things when they were clearing the land for the pumpkin patch and the other area. But it looked like the understory is starting to grow and fill in, but there's no new trees planted yet.
So you're talking about the where they went into the buffers, planting there, not the planting of the big field.
No,
You're talking
no,
about the
no.
buffers
The
only.
replanting,
Right.
revegetating the
And
buffers.
they just never did anything?
They haven't started it.
And that was
they've
6
been
months ago.
That was 6 months ago, and they had a 6-month window, which ends November 8th, and they're asking for more time.
And of
Why
course
did
now-
they not start planting?
From what I understand, they focused all their efforts on preparing the land and trying to get a first season in of some sort of crop. But I don't know if Tom.
So when
was
is the
that-
next best time for planting?
It would be the spring.
Spring, right?
Yeah.
April, May?
The entire, so the,
December, January,
The approval, like for the full re-veg approval, would give them a year to do the planting typically. But the board wanted to be
Till-
able to check in at 6 months. and
We
get
kind of
those
gave them
buffers.
this season, as I remember. We said, okay,
Yeah.
do what you got to do to
Yeah.
do your sunflowers or whatever.
There was also, I thought, conversation that the buffers they felt were overly restrictive to their agriculture operation. So I'm also wondering if they're asking to modify the buffer size.
I didn't get that impression. I think if, no, I think that
They
would.
they just want it for the timing.
They wanted more time, I guess, because they didn't.
But they can't
never
plant
started
now,
anything.
right? They,
I mean, if you really stretched it, you could probably plant into November, but I'm no professional.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'd be
especially with the
agreeable
weather
to it.
changing, you could plant well
you can
into.
plant now.
Yeah, I've seen people plant
Last,
through,
a couple winters
through
ago, you planted
November.
winter.
We gave them till, May 1st or something, but I'm a little concerned that they're going to come back on May 1st and say, oh, can you give us another
Yeah, what-
season?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, because they have there's, the
Why don't
typical
we-
is a 1 year with a 6-month addition, so really they could have 18 months total, but we're sort of missing our.
Why don't we extend it for a month?
Yes, and then ask them to come in.
Yeah, ask them to come in.
What's the name again?
Extend it
They
for a
should advocate
month.
for themselves.
So we can understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can.
December, it'll expire, November 8th, so we'll extend it to December
1.
8th.
December 8th, yeah.
And if they want anything
can
more than
plan.
that, they
To
can
come
come
back.
in.
Okay, so you'll reflect
Yeah,
that language?
I'll
Okay.
put it in here.
Motion?
Motion.
By Dennis, second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent. So it's from November 8 to December 8. It's been pretty warm. Are you done, Prena, or do you have more?
No, I think that was everything. Thank you so much for doing that.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
You're out of here.
Seth, number 10, water, seawater, well water,
Old water,
all water.
bottled water.
Here's
Thank you,
the
sir.
report. So we've, this was handled by Mr. Dennis Downs. I have put together a pre-app report, a draft pre-app report for your consideration. You may recall that this involves three properties, 4383 Noyak Road, 4377, and 4357. There was a merger, it was a lot line modification that's been proposed, merging the two lots that are up against the Sag Harbor Upper Cove there, and taking the flagpole portion of this lot I have highlighted and transferring it to this lot here that is fronting Noyak Road. I tried to explain that in a quick summary on the draft pre-app report. It was, I think, took a moment to make it clear where everything was going. At any rate, the benefits of this will be that there'll be less curb cuts, the creation of the lot up against the cove there will be conforming with the R40 zoning. It would create a 56,359 square foot property. The added benefits would be there are structures in that flagpole that are associated with the lot there on the front, pool equipment and such. So it will be taken into, absorbed into that lot as well. The applicant submitted a tri-panel for our consideration, so that obviously this was not a cluster plan, or since it's lot line, it's not really minor or major review either. The conformance with zoning, as mentioned, we're going to be making a more conforming lot out of the two lots that were up against the water there. I can say that this was created by a subdivision known as Minnie Schwartz and Fred Hager back in '76. It should be pointed out that there was to be no further subdivision or modification to said 4 parcels as approved by the planning board unless it was annulled or waived or changed or modified by the planning board. So just to make that clear. I should also go on to note that in 2003, there was a variance that was granted, and this is really why we're at this point right now. That decision said that the 4 lots were merged in error and are to revert to a single and separate status with the R20 setback. This is subject to the 2 waterfront lots being merged into 1 lot with the flag to the water, over the easterly side of the proposed lot, and a common driveway for the waterfront lot on the westerly road front lot. So again, that flagpole will be taken into that front lot there that I'm waving, and this flag here will serve the merged lot in the back. So this is finally really being effectuated by the applicant. It was asked for back in 2003, and he's moving ahead with finally getting this done. In terms of the referrals that were received, importantly, the DEC did point out that they're going to require tidal wetland permits per the Tidal Wetland Act. So that is something we need to consider. And that is actually 2 different permits that would be required. Then moving on to the fire prevention, there was nothing out of the ordinary. These are the standard recommendations. Similarly, the Department of Health Services, they did point out that they received a subdivision wastewater application back in 2003 and that it was finalized in 2006. They maintain jurisdiction over the final approval for this application. And Planning Commission, they had left it for our local determination, that is. And then, so the recommendations that I had proposed to the board to consider were that any construction on the proposed Lot 3 will require a wetlands permit, and that the planning board can move forward with a 292-39B referral if that's if the applicant requests that.
When were the wetlands flagged last?
That I'm not sure of. There is no record of a wetland flagging on this, so I don't
Well, we
have
make
that.
reference to it, so we need something.
I do have a covenanted buffer to the wetlands. I mean, it's in the,
Well, they're not proposing any regulated activity.
no,
No, they'd have to
Just
flag it.
merging the land
They'd have to,
merging it.
yeah, they'd have to flag it before they.
Yes.
before
take
they
any-
build anything.
Right. And then they get a current flag.
So that should be the recommendation, is if any proposed building is to take place on the merged lot, a flagging will be.
Yeah, you've said it, yeah.
Again, the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation requires two tidal wetland permits that would be necessary before the issuance of any building permits on those lots. Furthermore, the Suffolk County Department of Health Services approval is from 2006 and should be updated or looked at again, as it is probably expired. The subdivision map shall point out that no clearing would be taking place outside of the clearing window of December 1st to February 28th. And then we have the compliance with recommendations of fire prevention and the town engineer. So this was a pre-app. This is maybe a little bit much of a pre-application report, but I do believe there is reason to move on for the final application, and then we can be done.
Okay, good report.
So when they do the final application, though, you'd want the wetlands line,
Yes,
Because you're gonna be approving for 3 years
yes.
there, so you might wanna make that a part of your recommendation.
That the flagging
Yeah.
take place.
Right, and if the applicant wants to ask you to waive that process, then you would be going to the final step, I would think. Do you understand? Because usually a lot line modification involves waivers. There's only one step, you would approve the map. But in this case, because the wetlands is complicated, because the process gives you the ability to approve building envelopes for these people to develop the properties in the future.
And you would need a baseline
They
of
have
the
the
wetland.
right to do that. But he could come back and ask for the waiver. That's why it's really great to have these people here, but he doesn't seem to want to come. So, but I think adopting this as a report, he can always come back and ask, you know, but at this point, ask for the, if
Ask
they're
for
going
the-
for the final, you'll need the wetlands line update.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you'll add that?
Yes, for certain.
Thank you, Claire.
You're welcome, no problem.
Thank you, Claire.
Any questions?
No.
Motion to approve by Tom, second by Dennis, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent.
Okay, thank you.
Claire, you're doing Teresa?
Yeah, unless you want to finish yours.
That was it for me. Excuse me, Tanager is, did not make didn't get the re-veg plan in time.
Okay, so 20 is off?
Tanager, let me make sure that's the right number.
And the
20,
rest
yeah.
is,
It's 20.
the rest is Anthony and you, Claire.
Yes. Okay, so the first one is actually Teresa's.
Yeah, Hampton
Um,
Coffee.
Hampton Coffee. So, do you want to pull that
What
for
is
me
the
real quick?
address, I'm sorry?
Yeah,
31
31
Sh-
Shinnecock Road.
Open and operating for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that the same place?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wondered if they were
Well, it was a farm stand, and then it became something else, but I think it still has a CO for a farm stand.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, I had breakfast in there like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, it was a breakfast place. It
Yeah.
it was
No
a farm
permits.
stand that became a breakfast place magically.
Yes.
And then.
But that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah,
No
so,
permits.
they rightly came to us for a pre-submission process. We've got the basics to do that. But it will then go to the zoning board, not the zoning board, the town board for the change of one non-conforming use to another. If they want to facilitate the farm stand's use to a coffee shop.
It's town board action?
Yes,
It's a
when you
change
change
of
one
use.
non-conforming use to another, it is now a
Oh,
town
the
board
farm
action.
stand was non-conforming?
Yes.
Is that,
And
okay.
so does it come to us for a
And then it'll
referral?
come back to you, yes. it'll
And
come
they had
to
a
you
C of
for
O,
referral.
they had a C of O for that farm stand.
Farm stand.
C of O they had.
They're just trying to come into compliance, is that it? They're not changing anything?
No, you want to
They're
expand
coming
it.
into compliance.
Compliance.
Yeah, it's
Sorry.
cute. It's been
Do we have a
done, but,
picture of it?
Sorry, I was in the wrong Shinnecock,
oh, yeah.
road.
I was there about a month
There it
ago.
is.
It's very nice.
Yeah, having coffee?
It needs a little bit more
Starbucks shut down in
parking.
Hampton Bays for 8
It
months.
does have
for
other
their renovation.
uses on the property. I think it's got a couple cottages. The use probably
yes.
needs more parking than a farm stand use.
Yeah.
Because it's a, Hampton Coffee is not just a coffee place, it's kind of a restaurant. Right?
Have you seen,
Other
have
food.
you seen the C of O for the farm stand? You've seen it?
I've seen it,
Okay.
yeah.
So is that,
Great, want to pull up the CEO?
No. you
no,
don't.
just blow up the image so we can see.
Shall we start in the back of the property and work our way?
Okay.
There's lots of stuff going on.
Do they own that, Claire, or do they just lease the front
Who owns
porch
the front-
then?
Yeah, who owns it? I don't know who owns it. No, I see that, I'm sorry, I can't see.
Charles K. Mady's Revocable Trust.
Yeah, I think the same person has owned it. I've met him in there.
It's the
before.
same,
okay.
Mady's
And,
name.
He's, it was Pete's Green Door, and
Yeah.
then it was the Hamlet, and then Hampton Coffee now has taken over the lease, and so,
So it's a leased
yeah,
situation.
yeah.
It started out as Penny's Farm Stand.
Oh, okay.
Run back from Pompano Beach in the 60s, that's where we'd stop and get our corn and tomatoes.
Nice.
Picnic table.
So there's no visual
I have a
of it.
sign in my office, a picture of it in the office.
Really?
And it looks like a farm stand, but right on the front it says, and you can get breakfast sandwiches and you can.
We buy gold.
That was like the transition of where it came from a farm stand.
Massages.
Yeah, exactly. So,
That's why I have to laugh at Charlie Fox. It's like, you might as well open it. 75% of the site plans out here are operating without permits anyway,
yes. So
Don't
this,
put that in the minutes.
it's probably, yeah, maybe not that much. But,
Oh, that's what I
yeah, so
wanted
this
to
would be
see.
Seth's,
Seth, can
Seth
you-
pre-submission.
I just want to see
Sorry, what would you like to see?
where you at.
What it looks like?
Yeah,
Is that it?
that's the, That's the coffee shop.
Can you enlarge that? Just
Yeah, that's the,
make that
Open
whole,
up that.
the full screen on top right? Yeah.
I'm actually gonna take
got
my.
itself closed in, it's got the plastic sides.
There we go.
Oh,
That's
wow.
actually not how it looks right now.
No.
That's how it looks?
That part is open, but then the other side was kind of like a covered porch that was open to the elements that they've actually made made walls with windows around the whole thing. So
Yeah,
where
so
that
he's-
temporary, covering is actually permanent now, and the whole place is, better
That's called
heated
fast
and
tracking.
insulated.
Why go through a
I
year and a
thought-
half of site
yeah.
plan?
Maybe it should have
Secret
come first.
referrals, all that. Get the materials and put it up.
This is also when they go to this, this is great because we can look at this, we can dig up some plans, pictures,
Yep.
things like that. And we can give advice, because if they have expanded the use, then that's another aspect that the town board has to wrestle with.
Right.
So, but we can give you some guidance in a report. So December 11th for a pre-submission conference on this one.
Motion?
I'll move it.
December 11.
And they would bring in like current pictures or something and like show us.
I think we
They'll
should go
come
and
in,
have
when
a.
you say pre-submission, they're gonna come in and talk to us.
Yes, right. The,
Well, take a picture if you go there.
applicant in this case is,
Yeah, I'd have to pass your house to get there.
Jim Hume, so he'll be here.
Okay, so motion to, what are we doing? Setting a pre-submission conference for December 11th. Motion by Dennis, second by Tom, all in favor?
Aye.
6 in favor, 1 absent. You want to do Charles, Claire?
Yeah, Charles, this is also Teresa's, this is that office, medical office building and behind the lunch diner restaurants.
Right.
Lothrop.
Lunch.
Or Pier, where Pier 1 was?
No,
Yeah,
no, this is the diner.
Where Pier 1 was.
The diner,
behind the diner.
yeah.
Yeah.
Behind the diner, yeah. And this is incomplete, insufficient information.
Okay.
Motion?
Motion by Gloria, second by Kate. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions?
That was in Chow Sound years ago, yeah.
Sorry.
We got Charlie Fox.
6 in favor, incomplete.
I also have
Charlie
Kate.
Fox, we did.
Yes.
But these are the diner.
Hidden Cove Marina,
Yes, so they have come in for, with a modification. They've been sitting incomplete since June of 2024.
Weren't they asking for very little and they had done a whole lot?
Yes, yes. And then they asked for a whole lot, and I said, no, you should ask for a little. So I had to come back
Okay.
towards, let's clean up your site, and if you want a trellis, we could work with you for those
But
kinds of
haven't
things.
they actually?
Violations too,
They have
right?
violations, there's
Yeah,
some
they've
violations.
modified stuff, so how are we handling the modifications?
We doubled their fees. So there's some aspects that are there, and they are not letting go of them, they're not removing them. That would include along the shoreline, there are some seating, which you can see the seating right now. But there's poles, and they have canopies over them for people to wait for their boat to come in.
and also they were servicing
Very large
a
boats.
large boats, and didn't the town board handle that issue? I don't know if they ever came to a conclusion, like a party
The
boat,
trustees were involved
Trustees?
in this, I think, but
the party
they've
boats,
been
yeah.
I mean,
wrestling.
I guess I'm questioning why we're having a public hearing. Do we understand where we stand
Yes,
and what they're asking for?
yes. Yes.
We know that
Gonna
there
tell
are.
us?
Yes, would you like to know? It is for fencing, they've replaced their fencing. It's very obvious on the property, so they've replaced their fencing. It is in conformance, but they needed permission from you. Outdoor shower, they've installed. They put the canopy, which I just described, and posts. They're proposing a dumpster, and they're proposing an overhead door.
What about lights?
It's an overhead door.
The lighting, an overhead, like a opening to the building that's like a garage door, but a nicer looking garage door.
This is one where the residents were saying there were a lot of other issues, like, I mean,
Right.
That's,
Lighting is more difficult for me to say you've put more lighting up, but we can absolutely look at the lighting to make sure it's conforming and what you'd want to see.
so this is what they're asking for.
Yes,
So it's R10.
yes. Pre-existing non-conforming use in the zoning district.
And we have a regulation that says you can expand pre-existing non-conforming use by 30%, right?
Well, it'd be 50%, but what is expansion?
And I thought that was.
Structures?
It was for a community marina, and have they not
Right.
changed it to a
Commercial.
Commercial operation.
A commercial
with very
operation.
large boats? And where does that stand? Am I asking a valid question?
It is a good question. I mean, these are good questions. I have not been told by anybody else, like they're in violation. The violations issued are for things like this. Violations have not been issued about the operation of the use. I've not seen a violation to that effect.
Should we have them in on a work session?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we should do anything here, right, before we know what's going on.
And the
It's
status.
deemed site plan wetlands permit complete. So I don't think it's complete.
Yeah, I think we should have them in. We should also find out, have them, talk about the violations. I mean, we've gotten correspondence where the neighbors are
Yeah.
upset about a lot. And I was out there, a month ago, or 6 weeks ago or something. It was jam-packed with boats. I mean, it looked like the busiest car parking lot I've ever seen. They're all wedged in there.
And there's a calculation about how many boats they can house, right, Claire?
I
Isn't there?
don't have that information, but we
No,
can
but
get that from the
but we do have that, right, for boat yards, based on square footage?
Yeah, but this is in the
About-
water.
Boats in the water or boats out
Boats
of
in
the
the
water?
water.
In the-
And
this
I'm
is
not,
in the
I'm not a mariner, so, but they were.
In the slips?
Yeah,
The
in
water
the
slips?
slips, and, there
I
were
mean,
big
I-
boats, there were a lot of little boats.
Yeah, my understanding of that zoning, that pre-existing in a residential area was for community marina,
Right.
not
commercial.
oversized boats.
Party boats or whatever.
And I need an answer to that question. Is this within the pre-existing
Pre-existing
use that
non-conforming
was
use.
defined? Which, my understanding, maybe not correctly, was little boats for the local community. It's still, that you're gonna pay to dock them there,
Right.
but it's,
It's sort of morphed into a
Yes,
commercial
Spellman's.
operation,
Yes,
and I do
exactly.
think that, I remember Tommy John brought that discussion up on the town board. I don't know whatever happened to it, but it would be,
I heard the trustees talking, kind of wrestling with this at a public meeting a month ago or
well,
something where.
maybe, yeah, I mean,
Also, for comparison, I was just saying to Gloria, like Southampton Shores, they have like their little community marina that's probably defined in some way by the building department, right? And then you have like
Well, but that-
Spellman's or bigger
but
marina.
that's actually run by a homeowners association.
But it
as
still
opposed-
would have like a
But as
determination,
opposed to
right?
the
For an
marina where
accessory.
Captain Jack's is,
Oh, that's another.
that's commercial, but that's small boats.
Right. There is a definition somewhere in
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
code, yeah.
Okay, so do you want to table this and ask them to come in for a work
Why
sure?
not?
yeah.
Okay.
And
Um,
if you could get some additional information for us about this code and zoning and,
Trustees have some
Well-
jurisdiction, that's a town dock. So
Yes.
that's where I think the trustees have some jurisdiction.
So the
Should we ask
ramp
the trustees how
belongs to
many
the
boats
town.
they're permitted to have?
Tom, the ramp is the town ramp,
Right,
but
right.
is that marina,
No,
town?
no, the town, no, when I say dock,
The ramp
I'm sorry,
is
the
the
mar-
ramp.
the
but,
ramp.
Yeah.
but what's happening is they're using the town ramp
To launch
to
boats?
launch boats.
Their boats.
Or using it for people to get on their boats.
Uh-huh,
Right,
yeah.
right.
I mean,
That's why the community
I've
was.
kayaked from that area many times, so I'm very familiar with.
The question is about use, right? So wouldn't the building inspector be able to say it's this use versus that use? You know, even if it is operated by a homeowners association or
Put
permitted
Mark
by
on the
the
spot today, poor
trustees.
Mark. But we can.
It's okay, the trustees have wrestled with this issue for a while, and they generally were never in the business of regulating the length of vessels. They couldn't do that, that was outside their jurisdiction, but the number of spaces and the size of the docks, that obviously they could permit.
Okay.
But that's where they used to draw the line.
Okay.
As far as these booze cruises and bigger vessels coming in and launching parties and things like that, that was a separate issue they were looking into.
Just so there's nothing in the code then, or the trustees that,
Well, the trustees' blue book is incorporated, adopted into the town code.
right.
But there was never anything in there on regulating the length of vessels, if that's
So that was-
specifically what you were talking about.
So that code would need to be revised or
Well,
updated,
they can
amended.
regulate the length of the dock, et cetera, but that was about as far as they can go, whether they granted a permit for a certain size dock or not. And then whether it would protrude, a third of the way or more into a waterway. So there's, segments on the waterways being navigable.
Which
But
is, I
all this
think,
other stuff really
part
wasn't
of
in
the
there.
problem here is that that's a very narrow channel and not very deep.
Right.
Okay.
So let's bring him in.
Yeah.
Teresa will get her teeth in.
November 13th?
Why not?
Okay. And if it's too crowded on the 13th, we'll make it the 20th. Okay. Great. Thank you. I'll just table that.
Right, we have two sessions in November, 13th and 20th.
20th, yep.
And then because of Thanksgiving.
Yep.
What happened to Charlie Fox?
It was
It was deemed complete, and we scheduled a public hearing for November 13th.
Was I here when that happened?
Yeah, we did it very quickly.
Very quickly.
You were here.
Okay, I have another one that's
Bridge
great.
Petroleum? Oh, no. No.
It's back.
Oh, my Lord.
So,
Zombie application.
It's a new
Just
application.
walking down the street, Ed.
That's funny.
this is their proposal.
They withdrew the other one.
They withdrew the
correct?
ZBA application, and this is a new one, it's starting on the pre-submission again. This is to demolish the existing gas service station.
Completely? Pumps and house
Yep,
and building?
and then construct a new gas service station.
And you don't have the roads.
No convenience store.
Just keeping it a gas service station, though.
Yes.
It's weird they showed Montauk Highway on this.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
show the
Complete
roads.
now, or do we wait?
It's a pre-submission, so they don't need much for pre-submission.
Labeling
even have
a
a-
road, where's
don't have
Montauk
a
Highway? Here,
street
clear,
names.
here?
I can do that, It's
They don't have street name, and the side street that goes to that community, that
Yeah,
was,
where's the
what
labels
was
of
the
the
name of
roads?
that? Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta go to the key map. Here it is, and down in the
Oh,
key map.
there you go. New York State 270.
roadways
Walker
and
Road.
jurisdictions, right?
And this is the side road.
Yeah, remember
This is
Walker
County
Road?
Road
Yeah,
80.
yeah.
I can do that.
Did
We
you
did
ever
so much
see-
work on this plan.
Did you ever see it?
So now they've given up the convenience store, they're going back to the service
Do you
station.
remember this? Why did they withdraw it and then resubmit?
Yeah, but
I don't remember why they.
Until it becomes a convenience store.
they,
Until it becomes a convenience store.
This is the way Penny Farms did.
it would need a variance, they're expanding it 50%, up to the 50%. So, but this would be your first look at it. But yeah, I can require them to have that basic information on the property, on the plan, sure.
So,
That's not a problem.
so it's basically just a gas station now?
And how big is this service station?
The proposed is about 1,700 square feet.
What's
The
15?
11 one is, the existing one's about 1,100.
What's
Did they do-
15.75?
15.75.
Oh, on that.
It's, it says
Finished floor area, I think.
finished floor
It's over
area.
here.
Yeah, this finished floor area, elevation.
Is it what,
So
a
the
serv-
site is 16,300, the building is 1,000, existing 1,182, and they're proposing 1,728, which is a 46.6% increase. This is pre-existing non-conforming. Again, this is,
46% increase.
it's, yeah, almost a 50% increase.
So it's just been deemed incomplete for mapping requirements.
On the site plan, could they just indicate the,
Pretty
they have
I've never
incomplete.
seen, I've never seen anything like that.
That's pretty incomplete
overlay
without
of
the roads.
the existing now? So you could see
Where
it.
is this, Tennessee?
See the enlargement.
Is it in there?
I'll move to deem it incomplete.
Motion to deem it incomplete by Dennis, second by,
Lacking information.
lacking
Basic.
Okay,
information.
so it's not a completeness thing, it's just lacking the basic information in order to process.
Basic is the editorial component.
Okay?
Okay, motion by Dennis, second by Gloria, and all in favor. Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent. 17 is done.
Ooh, I'm sorry.
Anthony, you've got Gateway American Corp.
Real quick here, I don't do too many of the site disturbances these days.
Stay where you are.
13, the registry. This is, Ariel's not, this is from 2025, but the tennis court has been removed, driveway has been changed, and they had to do a revegetation, basically, to bring it back into compliance.
The tennis
there was
court
some-
was removed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
You're a tough guy, Anthony. I am impressed.
That was part of their plan. Get rid of it. And they provided a revegetation plan. Includes keeping whatever trees were there, which is good. They noted on the plan, and putting in additional, red maple, oaks, tune of 100 and something of them, 150.
Wow.
2,600 low bush blueberry, another 95, big blue stem. There's all sorts of stuff going on in here. So in any case, I've spent enough time looking at this. They're revegetating, they removed the driveway, they removed the tennis court, that was part of their plan. But in the process, the property was just overcleared.
Yeah.
Just the way
So
it's-
why did they
So this-
remove the tennis court?
They were building, a new house and just, they you know how these things go.
You should
Anthony,
say
so
you
this
made
was
them do
part
it.
of a subdivision with 10 lots? Because this is lot 10, or does that mean
That's right, it was, the name of the subdivision was Gateway,
The registry.
Gateway American Corp.?
Gateway America Corp., yeah, and the
You're
road.
satisfied with the re-veg plan?
I'm satisfied with the revegetation
Okay.
plan.
Big win.
Motion by
Have Seth
Tom?
look at it?
second by
Yes,
Dennis,
Seth
all in
looks at everything,
favor?
he probably started this.
6 in favor, 1 absent. 319 Brick Hill Road, site disturbance.
Actually, this property is pretty intact. This was approved back in 2019, and it sort of never went any there. They never really did their work, then they went and proceeded with their building permits. They came in after they got the approval. The plan was slightly revised. All the plantings are basically the same, but what they did was in this back area, started because it's been since 2019, started to regrow. And they asked, because of cost and everything, if they could just allow that area to continue to regrow.
That's revegetation, right?
And that's why it was done in
Growth.
2019. And if you don't, so
Just wait long enough.
I went out there, I got my pictures, I'm okay with it. The plan otherwise is still exactly the same, so I'm just recommending approving the re-veg plan for 319 Brick Hill Road.
So
It's revised only to eliminate the plantings back here and just allow that area to continue to grow.
no supplemental plantings?
That's what they were asking for.
Is this one of those properties that has elevation?
Probably.
There's
Brick
some
Hill.
elevation, but this is, this Brick Hill area is rolling in general.
And what's regrowing is what was there,
It,
History,
it's
50
just coming
years or
back.
something.
It's filled in pretty nicely, so, looking at it, I would say it's probably around, probably 3 or 4 feet high now that it started coming up. So I saw it, I said, let them keep it, in my opinion, just let it regrow. But that's up to the board.
I'll move it.
Well, it's APOD, so, All right, motion, we're taking your word for it, Anthony.
Against that better.
It's only because it's 5:20. I
Yeah,
thought we'd
motion
fight
by
with you.
Dennis, you've worn us down. Second, I need a second on this.
I just got one more question.
Second by Gloria, all in favor?
Aye.
Six in favor, one absent. Okay. You have Teresa's Claire, 60 Noyak Path, Watermill?
Oh, I think he's doing the ZBA referral.
No.
You doing ZBA?
We have 60
No,
Noyak
Claire
Path.
has 60 Noyak Path.
Oh, I have my sag vine. I thought you did 60 already, sorry.
No, we didn't.
Well, let's just do sag vine then real quick. You might remember this one. This is up on Middle Line Highway. Well, this is, if you look up there.
It's how,
It's the
Cell
cell
tower
tower.
piece.
Oh, yes, yes.
With the odd
This is the one where the
property
town's
line.
negotiated and already in contract to purchase with the, you've seen the map. It's-
Yes.
Right.
So they're before the zoning board, as you know, because they're creating, were you here for this?
Yeah, I was saying,
So, just real quick, it's a strange form of preservation, it's a strange lot layout there. Before the zoning board, this is a conforming 5-acre piece with a cell tower on there, all this, you know. And they're carving out cell tower, and then the CPF has contract to purchase the rest. They're before the zoning board because it's a non-conforming lot, and, you know, there's some setback issues that they're reviewing. You know, we have the referral here, you know, and when it's presented to boards and everything,
I thought you did a good job
Save on
of
property.
articulating our concerns.
so if I could just indulge myself and just read it into the record.
Do read it. I like the writing.
But
You
I
know-
just,
Planning board is
I
reviewed.
just patted you on the back.
I appreciate that. You know, our comments to the ZBA are as follows. Number one, I just say that we have a pending pre-app, and we had a public hearing in September. We're gonna do a detailed pre-app report. It'll be adopted in November, so they are aware of that. But here's what I say. Say the planning board acknowledges this project is designed to facilitate the preservation of 4.6 acres of land, representing 90% of the subject property. Nevertheless, the substandard lot being created to support the existing telecommunications tower is irregularly shaped, undersized, does not support any other potential uses, and will likely impede the potential to expand the existing cell tower without the need for additional zoning relief. Creating undersized lots is an unconventional way of preserving land that may establish a precedent whereby property owners of large residentially improved properties seek to create nonconforming lots while receiving payment from the town to preserve land that could otherwise be preserved through other means. To address these concerns, the applicant has stated that the town's acquisition of land will be subject to covenants and restrictions, allowing for the continued use as a telecommunications facility, but not for any other purpose, including residential or any other commercial use. The contract further provides that the town will have the right of first offer with proper notice if and when the communication tower is no longer a viable option on the subject property, if the property is made available for sale. Right of first offer will give the town an option to consider preservation of parcel 2 in the future, if appropriate, at the discretion of the town board. If the zoning board of appeals is inclined to grant relief for this project, the planning board recommends narrowly tailoring the approval to site-specific conditions and relief being requested that addresses the unique circumstances of this property, i.e. it's adjacent to existing preserved land, it's near the existing trail system, it's approved with the telecommunications tower, the imposition of covenants, the right of first offer, etc. The decision should further justified as part of the town's larger, long-term comprehensive plan demonstrating a legitimate public purpose for creating a subdivision with an unusual layout. The goal is to demonstrate that the approval is not a blueprint for other properties, but a unique opportunity for preservation specific to this site. I don't know what else I could possibly say.
Brilliant.
What do you think, Dennis?
Bravo. Bravo, Anthony.
well indulged.
You know, because I think, to be quite honest, I probably shouldn't say this, but I think whatever about the weird configuration, I think there's just a larger philosophical issue, I
Yeah.
think, here. You know what I
We
mean?
have to-
And
we
so
have to raise it.
we could say it without getting too crazy.
Right.
That's what I'll say
Excellent,
now.
thank you.
That was an Academy Award.
There you
Yeah.
go.
Bravo.
They got it formally.
Anthony, one word to add in there.
Yes. Yes, correct. Your full title.
Okay, motion to approve this, motion by Gloria, second by Kate, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, 6 in favor, 1 absent.
What about 60 Noyak Path?
Noyak.
Yeah, this is the plan. Very
extensive. Teresa reviewed it, so you know there's gonna be a lot more plans. So, yep.
Looks like a Seurat painting.
Great.
Yep, with their standard conditions related
Yeah,
to it, so.
there was nothing in the packet, so.
So.
It's APOD, Aquifer Overlay District, on Lake Path and
The
Watermill.
resolution doesn't have the square footages. Does that have the square footages? I'd like to just say it.
On here.
Yeah.
Oh.
'Cause I've been trying to write down the amount
Cleared area proposed,
clearing
25,441
that needs
square
to be
foot.
It's on here.
Okay.
25,441.
25,441 square feet.
That would be the
Total
resulting
revenge.
cleared area.
That's a cleared area.
Yeah, okay.
And the
So
revenge
we'd have to back
is,
that out of the 72,222. You got it? You can.
So that's
So
25%.
72,222
minus
minus
25,441.
25,441.
Well, that's,
That's your re-veg.
It's about 2/3.
75? What is this?
72,222.
72,222 minus 25.
35%.
But that's the square footage if you needed it.
That's the amount of clearing they're permitted on the property is 35%. So, yep,
This
that's
is
that's the correct.
5
amount.
acre.
Yep.
Great,
Thanks.
it looks
Okay,
good.
clear.
Okay, motion to accept
Motion?
by Gloria, second by Kate, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstention, 6 in favor, 1 absent. Then we have the town court.
Yeah.
We've already given them a referral on this, so.
You have given them a referral on this, because the original proposal was to,
Didn't have the rotation.
didn't have a rotation, so they have added that back in where there would be a
Right.
rotation. It is still 4 years.
Mhm.
So do you wanna just kind of reiterate your previous comments
Yep,
on that?
Yes.
And then you're still
Yeah.
concerned about the longevity, right?
yeah,
Okay.
all that language that we had, yeah.
Yeah, so,
This is also a very complicated, I spoke to Kathleen about it, it's a complicated rotation system. But also, we encourage them to eliminate term limits if they're going to be doing this.
Yeah.
I thought there were parallel pieces of
they
legislation.
didn't, they don't have that now, they withdrew that, the term limits.
Right. There's, yeah, I
Same.
heard the brief discussion the board had during their meeting a couple of weeks ago, and yes, they're not doing the term limits, but they're doing the 4-year term. And there is a public hearing, I think, October 30th.
Right.
There
When you're
was
saying they're
no
not doing
reference to
term.
there was no reference to any of the guidance that we
I
presented.
think we should say that we encourage moving forward with the legislation
Now,
of
this-
eliminating term limits.
Does this, if this were adopted, does this restart the clock for appointments?
I don't know.
It's very complicated. If you read, you can read in here
Yeah.
the rotation.
I think
And
we
the
also
rotation is
requested a work
complicated.
session with the town board to understand their rationale.
These are the rotations.
When a member of the community got up and asked the simple question, why? It took a minute to answer, and one of the board members said, so that it would be easier, I believe, to replace members that are not competent.
Yes,
That was basically the
Cindy.
answer.
There should be
That's not a
some
consideration.
evaluation of that built into any limit, right? I mean,
You know, and I'm not
exit
sure how the
clause if
town board
someone's-
judges competence would be another question I would have, how they
Yeah.
evaluate the competence of a ZBA or planning board member, but.
I mean, I think we gave all the strong legitimate, and I think we should repeat that and encourage them to move forward with the parallel legislation of eliminating term limits. We didn't have that in the last one.
We did.
Did
We
we?
did. So, you had it resolved at the end because you didn't technically review that because it was chapter 64. But the planning board does support the companion amendments for chapter 64 for the reason stated above. It just said you
Right.
supported that. But we could change that wording to say the planning board continues to support the, abolition of the,
Term limits, yeah.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
because then that makes this more doable.
To maintain institutional knowledge and competency of the board.
Yeah, I think that's all, that was all our,
Yeah, I just
It's all
quoted,
there.
basically, we quoted the previous legislation from 2022. And that summarized your.
maybe you can put it in bold.
That's to set the public hearing, right?
It was set the public hearing, the public hearing for this is November 12th.
November 12th. Okay, I thought it was
See-
It's a
October 30th.
Wednesday because they don't meet on the 11th because it's a day off.
What we quoted was the June 24, 2022 legislation that went to reestablish the term of zoning and planning board members from 4 to 7 years. It's just the opposite.
Right.
So all of the rationale remains the same, including primarily the recommendation of the New York.
Translation,
The New
we're
York
not gonna do
State-
any of this. It will all be serving us whole over
New
until
York-
Tom gets the new office.
There you go. Well, I may come and speak at the public hearing. I don't, we'll see how things go. but-
So this is, so they're going to adopt this when?
The public hearing is November 12th.
Okay, after the
They
election.
discussed it during a town
So
board
it's
meeting, which
after
was
the
kind,
election.
somewhat unusual to,
Yeah,
but
okay.
And the last one, I had a report, I left it downstairs. So, and it's late, right? So we can just
Yeah.
do that on the 13th or the
Amen.
20th.
Because I think there's no rush
So
on that one.
26 is off?
Yeah, and then what I'll do is I'll send you what I've got so that you can take some notes and we can finish it up
That's
the
the
next time
RAD,
we
is
talk
that the
about it.
RAD? Yeah.
That's the, not the RAD, but the Mariner Housing Change of Zone.
Okay,
So, okay.
all right, motion
Great.
to adjourn.
Motion.
By Dennis, second by Tom, all in favor? Opposed, abstentions, we are adjourned.